Could have a little thunderstruck throughout the day. We'll keep you abreast of all the situation going on here.
Yeah, we got some thunder out to the west of us.
Holy mother of goodness.
I tell you what, man.
I tell you what, that's going to ruin the protest tomorrow. And I heard about the giant protest downtown today. I was talking to Dan.
Woo, it's big.
Woo! He said, I felt sorry for them. They were trying to chant, and their speakers didn't work very well, and nobody knew when to clap and when not to clap unless the guy took the microphone down. I was like, oh. Kilmar Abrego, finally.
Not guilty, he said.
No. So we'll find out what. So he wants to be out on bail, but I don't think that's happening. Obviously, I would say he's a flight risk.
Well, and according to a story I looked at, even if the judge was to grant that, he would still have to be placed in an immigration facility.
Yeah. So,
I mean, either way.
Yeah, he's not going anywhere. So I just love that. Kidnapped by ICE, all those people out there. And Dan said the same thing I said about the protests with Elon. A vast majority of these people are in their 60s, 70s, and 80s.
Yeah.
It's not, there's not a ton of I haven't seen it. Now, tomorrow, my son and my little bro, we're going to head down to the No Kings.
Oh, over at Bicentennial Mall.
Pretty excited about it. Pretty excited. We're going to go on out there and see if there's any hoopla.
Yeah. I wonder if the Sounds are playing tomorrow.
I don't.
That's right next to the Sound Stadium.
There we go. This should be a good time had by all.
You can catch you a protest and a baseball game.
Depends on the weather, though. I'm going to tell you guys right now.
True.
I am. This is all, subject to change, much like a concert, depending on the weather. Because if it's raining hard, or I think it's going to be, no, I'm not going to do it.
Not going to do it?
Nope.
Not going to do it.
Not going to do it. Just wouldn't be prudent. Just not going to do it. Not going to have any of this stuff.
Yeah, we got some heavy rain moving in right now, man.
What are we looking at heavy-wise?
Just heavy rain, maybe a little thunder. That line right now is just now starting to creep over downtown Nashville.
Ooh.
Heaviest rain right now is over Portland to the north of Nashville, Franklin to the south of Nashville.
How long are we looking at this?
Off and on through Sunday.
Okay. And yeah, because I got flash flood warnings up and on the television as I'm watching the U.S. Open.
Yeah. A couple of counties in West Middle Tennessee are under a flash flood warning. That's going to be Benton, Carroll, Gibson, and Madison counties.
There we go.
Until 2:30.
Is it the bridges of Madison County that's currently? That's why they got a bridge there.
Let's hope they stay above water.
So this is So tomorrow will be interesting across the country. I have no idea how many No Kings protests are going to happen. No monarchy, any of that stuff.
I heard a number 1,500.
That's a pretty good sizable amount
around the country. Yeah.
I mean, some of them are in very small towns. So you might have 40 people show up, and some of them. My assumption is in places like New York, L.A., and some of these places, they're going to be massive because they got nothing going on.
Yes.
And it's a festival. And again, everything's subject to weather. It is. Same thing that goes on with the military parade tomorrow. That's all subject to weather. You get the lightning out there, you get all that stuff, you get the winds blowing, and next thing you know, people don't want to be outside. So, I like protesting, but only to a certain extent. I don't want to mess with my hair. My kids they were like, yeah, this will be fun. I'm like, yeah, we'll go. You know what's good? It's good to see what goes on in America. It's good to see the protest. It's good to see, because I'm a big believer. We should all have our voices heard.
Absolutely.
And to see this is what, democracy and freedom looks like. Whenever everybody screams about, did you know that Trump's a Nazi? I'm like, man, that's crazy. He's a fascist. So when's the part where he makes it so you guys can't even go on the streets to talk about him being a king? When does that happen? When does he drag everybody to the tunes of millions? It's not happening. It isn't. He even said today, he goes, I wish I was a king. It'd be easier.
I said he might get something done.
Yeah. Kings don't have to sit through this crap. So this will be interesting. And, of course, Padilla yesterday was hilarious. Just the hilarity of all of it yesterday. And we broke it down for you guys, and we're going to do it again later. But watching even the reaction today, it's hilarious. And for just a few hours, that was a big deal. And then, lo and behold, start getting, these notifications popping up, boom, boom, boom. And I'm like, oh, my God. And you kind of saw it coming because Trump was pretty funny yesterday. He's like, well, I don't want them to do it, and I don't think they're going to do it, but they're probably going to do it. They shouldn't do it, and I don't have any information. They're going to totally do it.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. I think, and I was talking to Bell about before, I think Trump was hoping they would wait through the weekend.
Right.
So they would have one more chance of some sort of diplomacy. And I think that now is gone.
Yeah.
That is my assumption. My assumption is that has played itself out at this moment in time. Because, they're calling now. They want to go to the UN. But first of all, you've destroyed a lot of their stuff. So what's the use of even having one of these? You guys have none of that stuff left.
Well,
but you have plenty of it left.
Yeah. And what is the UN going to do?
Nothing. Strongly worded letter.
Yeah, a strongly worded letter.
That's it. Just like we talked yesterday about the, what are they called? Before this, the League of Nations. Everybody knew that they were helpless when Japan basically said, we're going to do whatever we want. You guys can't stop us. And they just walked out. Yeah. And you think to yourself, they're no different. They're no different. They can't do anything. They can't. I think, what's the comic who said they couldn't break up a cookie fight at a Girl Scout convention? And that's kind of the truth. So what are they going to do? They can't do anything. They can go around the room, in the Security Council, and then some people vote against Israel and will vote for them, and that'll be that, and then nothing can happen to them.
Yeah.
So that's the way, just like in the opposite direction, when Palestine or Iran does anything, everybody goes around the room, and then Iran or somebody else will vote against it, and then nothing happens. And even if something happens, what's going to happen? The UN's not going to invade them. So it's a waste of time. But this is all about politics. And the politics of this is, we were talking before with, Brian Wilson, still alive. The whole politics of all of this stuff about, where are we in this? What's this going to look like? But when he talked about they didn't do anything, they haven't yet. I think Iran is somewhat shocked. I think they're shocked by how it happened. It wasn't just they flew planes in there. They were inside the country for a while, but they also took out a few of their big leaders. And understand that Khomeini's leaders, imagine if you hired all of your best friends to work with you. These guys weren't just people that were in the cabinet, weren't around him. They were close allies and pals of his. So he's probably reeling a little bit from that. And they, the next one will pop up. But I think our involvement will go so far as whatever Iran does to us. I think that's the big thing. If Iran decides to do something horrific, if they, I even said to my wife, hey, it'd be lying if I didn't say, what about sleeper cells? We had a wide open border for the last 4 years. Is it possible? Of course it's damn well possible.
Absolutely.
Could you imagine that? What about, they don't have, as my Army buddy says, military buddy says, they don't have like what they call a blue ocean Navy. They don't have anything like that. So they're not going to get close. They're not firing anything into the mainland like that. They could absolutely go after some of our stuff in the, in some of the straits and, some of our bases. But to what end does that get them? Now, parts of the embassies around the globe, that's something I would obviously be heightened on. But it's only going, our reaction will only go as far as whatever they do. We'll support Israel, and I'm sure Bibi and Trump are probably having some words because I think he really wanted to have one more shot at trying to get this thing done. But it didn't happen. So, alas. That plane crash, so more and more is coming out about it. The brother was very interesting. Do you know that he switched seats right before takeoff?
Goodness.
He wasn't supposed to be in that. He switched seats right before takeoff. They have no idea how he survived because like 99.9% of people who survive any kind of plane crash like this all come in the back two rows. So how he survived, nobody knows. But a guy was on that plane that went from, I think, New Delhi to this airport the flight before and got off, and then they boarded and took off. He said the lights flickered the whole time, none of the air conditioning worked, and all of the electronics, like on the back of this, none of them work, and they all failed. And he took video of it.
Goodness.
And they still chose to use the plane. Brilliant.
Yeah,
It feels like it's an electrical failure.
Right.
Like a full electrical, I mean, just nothing worked at all.
And if something like that is happening, as the pilot, do you not like say, hey, we might need to park this thing for a while and check it?
Well, what's the pressure? The pressure to go, right? Like the pressure is always like move, move, move. Well, is it worth it to lose 290 people? Is it worth it to put your people and to other people in harm's way? As they say, you're talking about souls. Is that worth it for the dollar? And that was a 10-hour flight, too. That wasn't a we're going to go for an hour and get down. I mean, if nothing is working inside there, you need to fix it just for the comfort.
Right.
Of the airplane.
Yeah, no air conditioning in a jet's cabin. Yeah. That can get uncomfortable.
That can get super uncomfortable. So, but the fact that he switched, and I think it was more catastrophic error than any kind of sabotage. Because I think you can't say never, but that's what I feel that it was more. But then this goes back to, okay, Boeing, is this a you thing? Or did you sell them the plane and they were supposed to service it and they didn't do the way they were supposed to? Which is, I think, a fair question.
Well, that's what they've been accused of in the past.
Or were you supposed to service this thing and you're like, we'll get to it when we can?
Yeah.
There
are so many different agencies, foreign and there are so many different agencies investigating this thing.
Yeah.
And that are involved.
Well, yeah, you've got
the countries.
The countries.
From who the passengers were from.
Yep.
You've got the NTSB now.
Yes.
Because it's an American-made plane.
Boeing's going to investigate.
Boeing, India, Canada.
The UK, European Union. Portugal, and obviously India. I think Pakistan is also good. I mean, it's
Pakistan, yes.
Yeah, so there's so many that are going to be looking at this. And look, the first thought yesterday was it had to be sabotage because of what's going on between India and what's going on between Pakistan. It's hard not to think, was it sabotage? But you could tell that there was nothing. And I saw a pilot walk through what took place. He said the minute it got up there, he goes, the wings should have been bent more. The nose should have been up at this point, and you could tell immediately he had absolutely no power.
Yeah, the wheels were down.
Yeah,
I mean fully.
Yeah, they weren't moving. They weren't even trying to get up. You could tell.
Yeah,
I mean, imagine being in that position because now you're crashing. Like that, immediately.
Knew.
So think about it. You're taking off, and to know that in 60 seconds you're going to be dead. You have no control over. You can't stop it.
And 60 seconds is actually a long time.
To think about it. Oh, yeah. Yeah. They called the Mayday. It was over. So it was, and those people in the building, right, at the medical place, they're just eating lunch.
Oh, man.
They had no idea. Think about that, too. I mean, you're eating lunch, and the last thing you think of, you're on the ground that you're going to get hit by an airplane. A commercial airplane.
Yeah, that selfie of that family, too, man. It's heartbreaking.
Oh, it's so heartbreaking. Those little kids that smiles on the face, they were going to the UK, they were going to go to Gatwick. They were super excited.
Had no idea.
Nope, just tragedy. A lot of stuff to get today. More fun with Padilla. I heard he survived the night. He was in ICU for most of it.
Was he on MSNBC last night?
Yeah. He's under guarded condition. He is breathing on his own. So that is good news. We'll talk a little bit about that.
Not bad for a guy that was dead yesterday.
Yeah, I know. Well, he was mostly dead. Mostly dead. So much fun stuff to get to as well. We got some crazy stuff, including Ozempic being used to maybe treat alcoholism. Wow, this thing's magic. We'll talk about that as well. If you're missing the show, shame on you. Grab the podcast. Chet Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7. Bulwark Capital wants to talk to you. You know about the DOGE. How about the DOR, Department of Retirement Efficiency? Wouldn't you love to run your portfolio through it and find out if there's waste? Well, the next best thing is the DOR. The DOR, which is Department of Retirement Efficiency, having somebody else, like my friends at Bulwark, take a look what's going on. Take a look at your portfolio. Is there waste? Is there hidden fees? Are there things that you are at way too much risk for, too much volatility? Are you in a position to where you want to be with where you want to go with your retirement and your investments? It's not going to cost you anything. My buddies over at Bulwark are going to take care of you. They're going to give you a full breakdown of what it is that they do. Lower risk, lower cost, lower volatility. Call them today. Set up a second opinion, if you will. 866-779-RISK, 866-779-RISK, or check out everything Bulwark does online at knowyourriskpodcast.com, knowyourriskpodcast.com for Bulwark Capital. Investment advisory service offered through Direct Financial LLC and SEC registered investment advisor. Investments involve risk, not a guarantee. Past performance, not guarantee future results. Trick 25217.
Kilmar Abrego Garcia pleads not guilty to human smuggling. Barge workers found a human foot in Old Hickory Lake this morning. Iran wants an emergency meeting of the United Nations Security Council, and a young Florida girl tangles with a shark. Coming up at 12:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Yeah, she did tangle with a shark. Jerk.
Was it for a
50
selfie?
years. What?
Was
No,
it for
it
a
was not.
selfie?
She was this little 8-year-old girl.
Yeah.
She's very lucky.
Very lucky.
It was a bull shark, because that's pretty much, they're the jerks of the sea. Some things are the
They'll bite
chickens of the sea.
anything.
They're the jerks of the sea.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about that. No doubt about that. Oh, God, the Padilla stuff is spectacular. I can't wait to get some. The insanity, what's funny is watching people get ready for these things tomorrow, for this king thing. I'm curious, because there's going to be a lot of people out there, and Trump is. Let's not pretend if it's not a huge crowd, and can we be honest with ourselves, okay? If it's not a massive crowd in D.C., that's going to be, people are going to freak out on MSNBC. Oh my God, it's great, nobody showed up. Well, it's a destination, first of all, right? If he had one in every city, it's a different story. But it's a destination, and. Nah, I don't, I just, that's a hard thing to get people to bite on at a time when it's summer, it's expensive, kids are home, to spend a lot of money. There's still plenty of good hotels I checked this morning available, so that also kind of shows. You check and see what hotels are like.
Yeah.
Coachella. Go book next year in April for Coachella. Find out now, it's tough getting a room already. I don't know what Bonnaroo's like. Do you stay at Bonnaroo? It's on a farm, right? Is that what it is? Or?
Camp.
Yeah, they've got camping grounds there.
Okay. I didn't
So
know.
you can either lay on the dirt or you can bring in your RV.
Yep.
Oh, you can bring in your RV. See, you can't do that at Coachella. Coachella, you have to, if you're going to stay there, you have to buy their yurt. Like the Fire Festival that never happened.
They're getting it together. They'll do this second
They're
one.
doing a week. They're doing a week at a hotel. Whatever. But so this will be, because Monday there's going to be the battle of truth, the battle of sizes. And, you know, Trump's got the ego. And he's going to feel if it's not, you know, 700 million people, he's going to feel aggrieved. And he's going to come out and say, he's the biggest crowd of all time for this day ever.
Bigger than Neil Armstrong had.
For this day. It's got to go for this day.
It's a crowd the likes of which nobody's ever seen.
It's what it's good. It's totally going to be that way. Speaking of Trump, this is great. The View, as they do, doing their thing, because
tanks will be rolling through the nation's capital, along with 7,000 marching soldiers to celebrate the 250th anniversary of the United States Army. There will also be No Kings demonstrations around the country to protest Trump. And it happens to be his 79th birthday. What a coincidence.
Okay.
Well, it is his birthday. You make it seem like that's a lie, like he changed it. What a coincidence that it's his birthday. Like his mom had it on this day. I'm going to have this guy so we can one day have his birthday on the 79th.
Hey, if you're a king, you can change your birthday.
Well, if you can change your sex, you can change your birthday, right? Can you change your age? Why not? If you can pretend to be a woman, I could pretend to be 24.
I identify as 28.
I'd definitely go with being 24 again.
You know what? I would go at being 24 in the physical.
Yeah.
But my age as in my brain.
Yeah, wisdom.
Yes.
Yeah, with the wisdom that I've gained not to do the things, well, all the things that I did at 24.
Some of it was fun. So, you know, we don't want to be so wisdom that we're like we become the Southern Baptists. Oh my God. I know some of you are probably the Southern Baptists, but every time they turn around, they're having their big, meeting. They're like, we're going to get rid of the gay marriage thing. No more porn. No more gambling. We're going to force people to have kids. You're like, oh, goodness me.
Have they disavowed drinking?
I don't know. Not yet, maybe.
Well, in the Southern Baptist churches I grew up in, you better not get caught drinking.
Yeah.
Especially if you're a deacon.
Yeah. I feel like every time I see any of them when they get together, I'm like, oh, this right here, this is the whole thing with Footloose, you guys. I feel like there's no dancing going on over here. Because it leads to devil.
The devil, Bobby Boucher.
The devil coming up. We've got an update on the most famous patient in the world, Alex Padilla. You should know who he is. If you didn't, honest to God, I was like, Alex Padilla, he played baseball. There was an Alex Padilla that played baseball. It wasn't this guy, though.
I was getting ready to say, that name sounded familiar.
Yeah, so we'll talk a bit about him. MSNBC is still clutching their pearls. It was incredible. We can talk that. A little bit more about what's going on in Israel as we got the latest out of there. And who knows what night number 2 of attacks will be. If you're missing the show, grab the podcast. Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 997.
.30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast coming up in 5 minutes. Kilmar Abrego Garcia pleading not guilty this morning to human smuggling charges 1 week after he was brought back to the United States from detention in El Salvador. 29-year-old entered his plea at his arraignment here in Nashville, where federal prosecutors have charged him with transporting undocumented migrants within the U.S. in what they say was a conspiracy involving the domestic transport of thousands of non-citizens from Mexico and Central America, including some children, in exchange for thousands of dollars. A human left foot found in a Middle Tennessee lake this morning. Police were called to the Old Hickory Dam on Cinder Road at 7:45 this morning after barge workers found a human left foot pinned between two barges. Iran asking for an emergency meeting of the United Nations Security Council to condemn Israel's attack this morning on Iranian missile and nuclear sites and the targeted killing of high-ranking military and nuclear officials. Israel's ambassador to the UN, Danny Danon, commenting on Israel's military action at a press conference in New York today.
Intelligence obtained by Israel revealed a secret program to develop all necessary parts of a bomb: uranium enrichment, triggering mechanisms, and warhead delivery systems.
A young Florida girl scheduled for more surgery today after she was bitten by a shark in shallow water this week. The shark said to be about 8 feet long. ABC's Morgan Norwood tells us what happened after the shark attack.
New body camera footage showing the moment officers arrived on the scene to treat 9-year-old Leah Lindell after she was bitten by a shark while snorkeling in the waters off of Boca Grande, Florida on Wednesday. The officer heard telling Leah how brave she is as they prepared to airlift her to Tampa for treatment.
You're being very brave.
Leah's family says she was snorkeling just 4 feet away from her mom and younger siblings in shallow water when she came up screaming.
To see her hand hanging like a piece and just blood everywhere.
Okay.
Leah's right hand badly bitten.
Leah's mom says doctors so far have saved her daughter's hand with blood flowing to her entire hand and all of her fingers. And for that, we are thankful. That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
And that is not good. If you've got some cracks, right? You got some places where maybe through the winter, some stuff, maybe, the frost metal, all of a sudden it went to certain areas that you didn't really see because you got cracks, you're not paying attention. Now the rains are coming, all this is happening. And then with the humidity, stuff grows. That's why you need USS, United Structural Systems. And I'll tell you why. With USS, they're going to come out and they're going to take a look at everything. You want to make sure your foundation's good, right? With basement, your crawl space, all that stuff. Because if that stuff starts to go and you got wood rot, then all of a sudden you've got mold. It becomes a nightmare. They can take care of it before it comes bad, and they're going to get it handled for you. This is what I want you to do. I want to call them, 615-488-7855, 615-488-7855. Check out what they can do for you. They're not going to sell you anything you don't need. They're not going to charge you anything for an inspection. It's just a smart thing to do. Don't let something small become something so big that it becomes an absolute nightmare for you and your family. Call USS today, even if you have just an inkling of, I wonder if. 615-488-7855 or online at USSTN.com. Hey, what's up, everybody? It's me here, Chad, talking to you about Contours. You want to lose some inches? Of course you do. You want to feel good? Of course you do. Contours get it done for you. Contours Med Spa in Franklin is incredible. They got the ultra slim technology, gets rid of that body fat. You're guaranteed to lose 2 inches, or your first treatment is free. Why don't you try this? $99. Go in there for your first time. Guys, gals, this is for everybody. Ladies, they do facials. My wife's done it, and she's done the inches, and it's incredible. It's amazing. It doesn't hurt. It is awesome. So if you're looking maybe to get rid of those fine lines and wrinkles and blemishes, or maybe you're looking to slim down a little bit, you're going to look and feel great. See, the Red Knight technology produces amazing stuff with the collagen tight to your skin. It's not your typical facial, and this is not your typical place, especially when it comes to losing the weight. It's awesome. Non-invasive, doesn't hurt, FDA cleared, and they're running a spring special. It's $99 to try you for the first one. And I'm telling you guys, I feel amazing. And on top of that, my clothes are fitting better, and it's awesome. Call them today, 615-236-9960, 615-236-9960, or go to contoursllc.com and let them know I sent you. You'll be glad you did. People are mad at us, Ken.
Why is that?
They think we made fun of the Bible, which we didn't.
I'm not making fun of the Bible.
I'm making fun of the Bible? By the way, I'm a Christian. Read my Bible this morning. First thing I do when I get up at 2:30.
Do you not understand that God has no sense of humor?
He does. That's why it's going to be a shame when you guys all get there and you see me and Ken going, we told you that he likes our stuff. We're opening tonight.
I would never make fun of the Bible. I read it every morning.
I do too.
We got a run of eternity contract.
I know. It is, look, the Southern Baptists have had their issues. I went to a Baptist school as a kid because we went to a Nazarene school and then we went to the Baptist school. My mom's like, because we kind of all wanted us together, the little friendship group that we had, and it was a nightmare. They were, like you said, there's a lot of fire and brimstone.
Oh, yes.
What was it? You said you always thought you were going to hell.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, man. We had a preacher come where I went to church there in East Texas back in the late 70s. I was I would have been 10. Would have been 10 years old. This guy had been in a crash where he had been severely burned and then went around telling how that's what hell is like.
Was he like a traveling evangelist?
Yes.
I'm almost positive he came to our church, too.
And I'm telling you, man, I did not sleep that night.
Really?
Literally scared the HELL out of me. But
Why?
I mean, it terrified me.
Because that's what's going to happen when you go to hell.
That's what, and I just thought that's what was going to happen to me. Period.
Yeah. See, that's not good. That's not good. And but look, they're using their political power right now. They've said so.
Well, they've got it.
They said that they want to use it. They feel they got somebody in the White House that's willing to do stuff. And I am, I don't think you can't legislate morality. That's what they want to do. And I still find it weird that they want to go after people. Was it willingness, childlessness? Is that what it was? Willful childlessness.
I will never have kids. So does that make me a bad
you're
human
done
being?
and you're horrible and off to the thing with you.
I'm off to the gulag?
I don't know if it's a gulag. That feels like we got to. What's the thing where they put you in the stock?
Stockade?
Yeah, people throw stuff at you. That'd be cool. Off to that.
You say it would be cool because you'd be the only one there standing throwing stuff at me.
No, I'd stand next to you. I go, come on, guys. Come on. Do you really want him to have kids? Sometimes it's a good choice that you don't. Yesterday, all kidding aside, it was horrible. And we're going to play some of it. And if you've got kids, as they would say on the television, viewer discretion advised. But this is about the audio side of it. Alex Padilla caused a ruckus. And for that, well, we're going to play some of it, and it's tough to listen to.
Senator Alex Padilla, I have questions for the secretary, because the fact of the matter is a half a dozen violent criminals that you're rotating on your
Here it comes.
heads off.
And that's the last we saw of Alex.
And Secretary Noem just keeps going.
Yeah, I was going to say she didn't even stop talking.
She never stopped. It was just, she kept going and going. Now, he did survive, and they did have a conversation afterwards. And, of course, the likes of, well, MSNBC. Nicole Wall is here. How she survives daily is beyond me, but I want you to listen to this.
This was one of the bleakest days of anchoring that I've ever had in the job. I mean,
one of the bleakest days of anchoring. This was. Nothing's ever been bleaker than this.
This was it.
This was it. plane crashes, terrorism, shootings at schools, all of those things. This was one of the bleakest.
Terrible.
Absolutely. Let's see if she can get through this conversation.
We, I think, were prepared, on the losing side of the November contest for Trump to do things that we warned he would do in his embrace of autocracy and Orban and Putin and others. But as your former colleague Ben Rhodes said on my show today, I mean, Orban hasn't done this. This is he's to the autocratic right of Orban, and to be doing what they're doing in full view of the cameras really does make the mind expand in new directions in terms of wondering what they're doing to people who don't have, who aren't one of a body of 100.
Like if this was just a run-of-the-mill congressman, they might have shot him on sight.
They might have.
But because he's one of they didn't know who the hell he was. They didn't. I want you to listen to this. This is spectacular. This is CNN, so Aaron Burnett talking to the former governor of Minnesota about, do you think, this?
Senator Mark Kelly made an interesting point at the top of the program. He said, look, you're in California. You're hosting a press conference in the state of California, in the moment that we are in California. And one of two senators from California is sitting in the room and stands up and starts talking. And you should know who he is. And you should know who he is. And that would mean you don't just handcuff him. Do you see it that way?
No. I read and follow politics incredibly closely, and I didn't know who he was. I had to look him up. And so to me, as I watched that video, and I know he's sitting there, with all due respect, he looked like he wanted to create a spectacle. And if you approach a sitting cabinet secretary with a security portfolio and you do it in an aggressive manner, you should expect to be constrained and maybe shoved. And if they didn't know who he was, I think that was an appropriate response.
I think so, too. And I've said this over and over again. If that was KJP and they would have done the same thing, I would have zero problems with it. This guy's a governor. I had no idea who he was. I had to look him up. And I like politics. I mean, think about that. Think about that. He identified himself. Oh, okay, so I'm supposed to take his word for it?
Yeah, while he's bum rushing the stage or the podium, he's identifying himself. He's a U.S. senator.
You know what? You think that it's bad for you on the Democratic side when you've got Stephen A. Smith going, what the hell are you doing?
I saw that.
Here you have this senator, Alex Padilla. Can Kristi Noem speak? Could you have waited till she finished to ask your questions? To shout your questions? You are a senator, right? You couldn't wait? So that was just you out of control because you were just losing it up. You, a United States senator, couldn't compose yourself and let the head of Homeland Security finish her thoughts before you asked the question. Couldn't do that, huh? Couldn't do it, huh?
However, could you help the Knicks?
That is a good point, though, because if that had been on the Senate floor, his behavior would have been absolutely not tolerated.
Exactly. 100%. And you know what? I would have looked at him and said, hey, I want to reclaim my time. Here's the thing. So afterwards, he goes off, and the MSNBC later on is asking him, did you meet with him? Because he goes, yes. He goes, to be fair, they took me aside, and one of their people came out once they identified who I was. And he's a big dude, by the way. As you said yesterday, the leverage was there because he's a big guy.
Yeah, he's a tall fella.
So, and just to let you guys know how unaware people are of him, he's the senior senator of California. The other senator is Adam Dipschiff. So my buddies who live in California, I was talking to last night, they didn't know who he was. They've heard the name. They didn't know what he looked like. So with all this going on, he said afterwards, her second in charge, her secretary that handles everything, came over and goes, look, would you like to meet with him personally, her personally? He said, I would. And then they said, would you like to go in and finish the press conference and stuff? And he said, I would like to do that too. It was a cordial meeting, and then he went outside and, of course, cried to the cameras.
Yeah.
But it was all a setup. He was there to do this and to make it look like Trump's worse than Orban. And if you guys don't know who he is, he's the guy that runs Hungary. Pretty iron fist. That's what I'm saying. Orban would legislate well anything. Orban's the kind of guy that would change the anthem if he could to put like his mom in it, like that guy did in Turkmenistan or wherever. Put his mom in the anthem. Is that the place where you can only drive a white car in the city? Right? Like one of those places? Oh. That's the insanity. Like these people are just, you did this to yourself, but you know what? You got everything you wanted out of it. And the right and even the left are like, no, sorry, you wanted to make a spectacle. You made your spectacle, but it didn't get you what you want. And with all that going on, Trump then says yesterday, farm workers and hotel folk, they should stay. They should probably stay. Trump's probably like, what do you mean? What's wrong with our hotels? We have nobody working there?
That's right.
Wait, you're telling me I got nobody working there?
Trump Tower got a hold of him and said, Mr. President.
When you say nobody working, do you mean they called out because they're mad? No, they just know, okay, well, we need to fix that. We need to fix that, indeed. So, and by the way, you cannot bum rush anybody on either side of the aisle.
No.
That's a stupid thing to do. And you play a stupid game, you win a stupid prize. And he is lucky because, you never know what can happen. You never know. And he put up a hell of a fight, too. It wasn't like he got pushed back once, took a step back and said, look, I'm a U.S. Senator. I'm here in California. I want to talk to you. And he didn't wear his pin. None of that stuff was visible. So settle down there, kitten. Ooh-wee. You and your Southern Baptists. I can't believe you made jokes about space Mormons yesterday, too. We didn't hear from the space Mormons. We made a joke about them.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they've quite caught on that
Scientology.
That means Scientologists, space Mormons.
Space Mormons. I've in California. I've made a few jokes and I've gotten a couple emails.
Well, they have a celebrity center here.
Do they? Is it big?
I mean, is anything in Scientology big anymore?
No.
But it's just you would think I could get at least one letter from them calling me a bigot.
Yeah, they didn't, huh? I did a voiceover for them, and I had no idea it was for them. So it was in Riverside, California.
They just mentioned it was for some dude named Xenu.
No,
and
they said, hey, can you come do this? It was I read for something. It was just a regular old read. And then, they said, hey, it's a day's work. You get like $1,600. I'm like, okay, cool. So, but they wanted me to come out there. See, that's when it gets weird. So
out to the compound.
So I go out to, it's in Riverside,
right.
out to the space Mormon ship temple thing. And I couldn't even get in the building before they started trying. I'm like, I'm here to do a voiceover. And I'm like, oh God, I couldn't even get in the building before they started like trying to tell me about like the DC-10s or whatever. Can I go to the higher, what is it that you want to go clear?
Yeah, you want to go clear. You want to go through
clear.
all the different ranks and go clear once you've spent your $1 million of paying for them.
What's it cost to go clear? That should be it. Like, if I give you $1 million, will you stop bugging me?
No, because they want to be able to have that shot of them presenting you the certificate of going clear that they can put in the booklet.
And one of the reasons that there's so many people in Hollywood that get brought into it is because for years they would give free acting classes to everybody with the biggest acting coaches and stars. And that's how they recruited a lot of these people. So you could go take a voice acting class with the biggest voiceover actors who were all Scientologists, and you could do it for free, essentially. And so people would go, and then they're like, hey, you know what? Your life's not very good, and I could see that your aura, or whatever it is that they say.
You got a lot of thetans hanging on you.
You got a lot of thetans hanging out with you. Man, they're coming after us today, guys. I'll tell you that right now. Coming up. A lot of good stuff. Still to squeeze into on this Friday. Watch a little golf in front of me. Oh, I love the golf. A little bit of golf going on. Talk more about Abrego Garcia. We've got the latest with him. And tomorrow's big, giant, no kings, no monarchy, no dukes or duchesses protest that's going on downtown. Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7. Rough Greens, ruffgreens.com. Vitamins, minerals, probiotics, omega-3, 6, 9, all of this incredible stuff packed into an awesome supplement that you give your dog on a daily basis. Your dog's going to love it. The fit, the feel, the way that they... I will tell you this right now. I give my dogs 1 scoop a day, and they'll look, because I'll put their food down fresh, and they look like you haven't done it yet. So that's where I know they love the taste. And they have no idea what they're getting outside of the fact that they're getting something they think special sprinkled onto their food. We have no problems with our dogs. No problems whatsoever. They got their shots when they're young and their first-year checkups, and we've never gone back because they've never had a problem, and it's amazing. Our older dog lived about 6 years longer than he should have, well past his sell-by date, because of Rough Greens. I absolutely believe that. Try a Jumpstart trial bag of Rough Greens today. It's not going to cost you anything but shipping. It's a $20 value. You cover the cost of shipping, they get it to you. ruffgreens.com/chat. ruffgreens.com/chat. Get your free Jumpstart trial bag of Rough Greens today. ruffgreens.com/chat.
Kilmar Abrego Garcia enters a plea in federal court in Nashville. Police investigating after a human foot was found at a Middle Tennessee lake. And the 2 flight data recorders in the Air India plane crash have been found. And a full report after Israel's preemptive strike on Iran. Coming up at 1 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Immigrants are welcome here. Donald Trump, let's be clear. Immigrants are welcome here. Donald Trump, let's be clear. Immigrants are welcome here.
That right there was a bit of the excitement going on downtown today at the hearing. The hearing, I say. I think they did. I was looking at Matt's pictures.
Yeah.
They are, they're pretty funny. Some of the people down there just free him from white supremacy and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So what?
Yeah. Immigrants are welcome here, too.
Yeah, absolutely.
They are absolutely welcome. This president has said so. Just do it the right way.
And now he's looking about, okay, what can we do? Because you know what? He's heard from a lot of farmers who have said, I don't have any workers anymore. I don't. And one farmer said, look, if they had their papers, they wouldn't work for me. They would go get a better job. But this is what they have. And so he's thinking about, okay, what can we do to keep farm workers here? What can we do to keep the hotel workers? Because he probably realizes, oh my God, I have hotels and nobody's there. So there's a right way to do it. Now, I've said this over and over, and I would do the same damn thing if I was in their position. But I would also expect that there could be a knock at the door one day, and you can't think that wouldn't happen. So it's, but him, this is now different. This is not just him. There are so many things with this guy between the human, it's not human trafficking, it's smuggling. They said they found 6 of the 9 that were in there, 8 that were in the car that day. The other ones have been deported. One of them is going to college, but he's not here. So human smuggling is different. They've come here on their own accord as opposed to being kidnapped and human trafficked. And so that's and they're trying to also, like some of the stuff they talked about, the group that maybe he worked with, stuff that happened in Mexico, that it doesn't seem to be Kilmar Abrego had anything to do with that, but they're trying to tie all this stuff in together. And the license plate on that truck, that had been flagged months before as a vehicle of interest in human smuggling. So he is, are they keeping him here? Are they transferring him somewhere?
There's no word.
Okay.
His attorneys, who's paying for his attorneys?
Oh, he's got so many attorneys.
I mean, I was going to, are they, public attorneys, or is somebody paying for this? But anyway,
the DNC maybe?
Either way, there's no mention. They argued that he should be released, but then the United States attorney argued, if that's the case, he's still got to go into an immigration detention facility.
So he can, either way, he's going nowhere at this moment in time. Coming up, hour number 2 of the program. Happy Friday. Chad Benson Show.
One o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast in 5 minutes. Right now in Nashville, Kilmar Abrego Garcia pleading not guilty today to human smuggling charges. It's 1 week after he was brought back to the United States from detention in El Salvador. 29-year-old entering his plea at his arraignment here in Nashville. Garcia's attorneys argued he should be released until trial. Mystery in Middle Tennessee. Police investigating after a human foot was discovered at the Old Hickory Dam on Old Hickory Lake this morning. Officers called to the dam on Cinder Road around 7:45. According to Metro Police, barge workers were conducting perimeter sweeps when they noticed a human left foot pinned between 2 barges.
The This is a special report from ABC News. I'm Michelle Franzen. The U.S. said it did not participate in Israel's attacks on Iran, but Secretary of State Marco Rubio did say the U.S. provided intel. President Trump says he's still hopeful Iran will make a deal with the U.S. on nuclear talks, but at the same time, he's now saying Iran is running out of time. ABC's Jonathan Carl has more.
He said, I think it's been excellent. We gave them a chance and they didn't take it. They got hit hard, very hard. And then this, they got hit about as hard as they're going to get hit, and there's going to be more. There's more to come, a lot more.
Israel's ambassador to the UN, Danny Danon, called the strikes necessary.
Israel uncovered clear evidence that the Iranian regime was planning a surprise attack in coordination with their proxies. They had planned to invade from all sides, with thousands of terrorists and thousands of projectiles.
This is ABC News.
Well, the two flight data recorders in the Air India plane crash have been found. They're expected to shed light on why the Boeing Dreamliner plowed into a medical school shortly after takeoff. ABC's James Longman in India with more on the only survivor.
Miraculously, a sole survivor, seated in 11A, an emergency row seat. Astonishingly, walking away from the crash. Vishwash Kumar Ramesh remains hospitalized. His family, meanwhile, beyond grateful.
He video called my dad. As he crashed, he said, "Our plane's crashed." I don't know how I'm alive, how I exited the plane.
Although Ramesh was seated in that emergency row seat, experts say there's no safest seat on passenger planes.
A young girl scheduled for more surgery today after she was bitten by a shark in shallow waters Wednesday while snorkeling in Boca Grande, Florida. The shark said to be about 8 feet long. ABC's Morgan Norwood has more on the anxious mother talking to responding officers after the attack.
Leah's mother thankful her daughter survived.
To go.
I'm just happy
But
she's alive.
oh yeah, me too. And she seems very strong. She's holding herself together very well.
Her mom sharing this update on Instagram, showing Leah in her hospital bed, praising God and the doctors, writing, Leah had a very long surgery to save her hand, and doctors were able to get blood flow to her entire hand and all of her fingers.
That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
How much rain will we get? What's it look like out there, Weather Wizard?
Well, let's check radar here. Looks like we've got a line of showers that the heaviest part has now moved off to the east of downtown Nashville. But it's still dropping some pretty heavy rain. By the way, this line stretches all the way from Louisville down into central Alabama, parts of Mississippi. Continues to move off to the east. There's nothing severe in it. There's just a lot of rain. It's prompted a couple of flash flood warnings for some west middle Tennessee counties. But other than that, just very wet rain.
How long is this going to last today?
Who knows? I mean, it's going to pop up off and on.
The weather wizard should know.
Well, you know.
It's probably going to rain again today. Maybe it won't, but we'll see.
I'll take it.
There you go.
Yeah, scattered to numerous showers and thunderstorms, which means it'll rain a little while somewhere, then it'll stop raining there and start raining somewhere else.
That's the weather wizard, kids, and this Doppler 5000 radar.
I'm just going off the National Weather Service.
I have a moped.
I've got a little Honda Passport with a star on it that says I can take it overseas if I want.
Oh, nice. Very good. I love the weather wizard. He doesn't get it wrong. It's going to be sunny with a chance of rain. There could be some snow, high hurricane warnings, as well as some potential hail, and, of course, a heat warning throughout the day. And make sure you take your jacket with you, but also bring your sunblock. So that's the possibility for today. So you guys had no idea, but Iran was awoken up to something last night. And that wasn't a shock, right? Like, we knew it was coming. Yesterday, Trump was trying to be coy about it. It's like, well, it's probably not going to happen, but they're going to do it.
Well, Wednesday, whenever the Pentagon put out that they were offering to, help non-essential staff at some embassies and then help, military members' dependents get out of places, that told me something's up.
Yeah, something was up. Now the question is, what's our role going to be? I don't know. I don't want us to spend $1. I don't want us to do any of that stuff. I don't think anybody does. It has nothing to do with Iran in itself. We realize what kind of regime we're dealing with. At the same time, I don't want a nation build. I don't want a nation build, and I don't want to fund somebody else to nation build. But I also think it's going to matter what happens in their reaction, because their reaction right now has been very mute. They send off some of those drones that are really small. They didn't do anything, and I think they were surprised by everything. I think they're embarrassed, and the dear leader's trying to figure out what to do, because they do have ballistic missiles, and they're serious enough. This is serious enough that Israel started moving their hospitals underground. That shows you how serious. The Brits were moving their people because they understand that there may be something coming. But what is that? It's not nuclear. We know that. And the nuclear thing, too, everybody's like, how close were they? They were, depending on who you're listening to, could have been a breakout of 6 days to 15 days. But that doesn't mean they have anything that can deliver a bomb. They had enough potentially for 9, some people are saying, but you have to be able to deliver it. And that wasn't going to happen anytime soon. They were saying it could have been 2-3 years maybe before they had something where they could actually deliver that. But you can't allow them to have a weapon. But the fact that diplomacy, because that's what I think, Trump wanted one more swing of that. I think he thought, well, we get one more chance.
This is exactly what President Trump was hoping to avoid. For weeks, he's been trying to strike a nuclear deal and avoid a broader conflict. In fact, last night, just moments before this attack, the president took to social media, urging again for a diplomatic resolution. He had told Netanyahu that an attack like this would be inappropriate, said it would derail these talks. He said that it would, quote, blow it. But speaking with our John Carl, the president said of the attack that he thinks it's been excellent, saying, quote, we gave them a chance and they didn't take it.
Well, that's saying everything, kind of like just Ken there with the weather. It was excellent. It was horrible. I can't believe they did it, but the fact that they did was awesome, but they really shouldn't have. But it's excellent. I still hope for a diplomatic chant. There's no way this is ever happening. News at 11. I think he was hoping they'd give him the weekend to have one more shot. But Witkoff warned everybody last week of a mass casualty event if these things go sideways. He told Republicans and Democrats that there is a chance that if this doesn't work out, that there could be something coming as a mass casualty event, which is kind of frightening because that's the guy doing the negotiating. And, you know, people, I saw, was it today? Mark Kelly came out and he's all, this is Trump's fault because he got us out of that deal. That deal is useless. Do you guys remember the Obama deal? How useless it was? Even Chuck Schumer's like, this is stupid. Let's go over how this worked. So if you wanted to inspect the nuclear facilities of Iran, you must put it in writing formally and send it to them. Then they have like some 24 days to respond. And they can then say, no, we don't want you to. We don't think you should be able to. Then they can dispute it. It could go to arbitration, which could take 54 days. Oh, we're not done yet, kids. On top of that, there were limitations, including certain undeclared sites that we had no or limited access to. They've always wanted a bomb because a bomb, you see what it does to North Korea. It makes you a player on the world stage. It gives you something that allows you to essentially go, I have a pass to the big boy table. I'm not sitting on the little kids table like at Thanksgiving. I have a pass to the big boy table. And that's what they wanted. So when North Korea did it, they started their nuclear stuff in like the 50s. It didn't go well. They didn't have a lot. They picked it up in the 80s hardcore. Then there was the battle of, whoa, you guys can't. And they saber rattled. We're going to do this. And then what ended up happening was we gave them what they wanted. The whole world capitulated. They gave them everything they wanted, essentially. In exchange, they got aid, they got a D, they got all the stuff. And then by 2002, it collapsed. But by then, they were already testing. Now they have anywhere between 20 and 60. Not one. I mean, one's enough. But you need more than one. And so there you go. I was talking to my military analyst today that I'm on my national show. I'm trying to get him on here today, but he's traveling. It's tough. He's doing a bunch of TV hits, but the weapons that they need to get to where they need to get to, we haven't given them. So Iran has built some of these things deep enough down that at this moment in time, the penetration may not be big enough to get to some of the facilities that we need to get to. So enough to push them back, enough to make it tough for them to start over, and they're missing things. But to get to some of those things, they need certain, like, you know, was it bunker busters they used to call them? But something like that. And that's if I don't, you know, I mean, the intelligence said they were close to a breakout. How close, I don't know. But to say that, you know, I heard Christiane Amanpour say, they've said they really don't want a nuclear weapon. You're lying. That's the lie of lies. What do you mean they don't want to? Of course they want a nuclear weapon. In fact, they'd be doing their country a disservice if they weren't trying to get a nuclear weapon so they could be the big dogs on the street. We just can't let them because other countries have it and it's more of a deterrent. And all you have to do is look at Ukraine. Am I right? They gave up their nuclear weapons and they got invaded. I can guarantee you, if they had nuclear weapons, Putin would never have invaded them. It would never have happened. It is both an offensive, but mostly a defensive thing. You just don't want to mess. You don't want to mess because of the sting. So we're going to find out what happens, though, in the coming days because they seem like they're going to do it. What do you think? Think this is going to go on for another week? Do you think this is – I feel like Iran's going to do something sooner rather than later. And
they've almost got to do something.
Yeah, you got to save some face.
Yeah, you can't just let Israel come and step on you and you do nothing back. It's just a matter of how proportional it'll be.
Well, they apparently have to promote some of their military to some higher rankings.
Yeah.
Because apparently some generals were taken out.
Yeah, listen to this. This is today, our good buddies over at News Nation talking about who was killed.
News Nation has confirmed that the strikes killed the chief of staff for Iran's armed forces, Major General Mohammad Hossein Bagheri, as well as General Hossein Salami, the head of the Iranian Revolutionary Guard, which serves as a paramilitary force and controls Iran's ballistic missiles.
That is the guy, though, that was their big guy, Salami guy, right? So Salami guy was their – he was the guy that basically was the man that kind of took over for – remember when they blew up Soleimani?
Oh, yeah, the one Trump killed in his first term.
Was it the samurai bomb or the ninja bomb?
Something like that.
Yeah. The Salami guy, Salamani, but he is, I like the guy from News Nation called him Salami. Like the TV show White Shadow, and they had Salami on there. This is exactly this. Remember that?
I loved that show.
This guy was not the same. He was, though, like best friends with the, Ayatollah. He was, and they were close. They took out several of their nuclear scientists too.
The top one.
Yeah, and that's also setting them back. So, but this guy was the nuke guy, and when you said they need to promote, and how many of those guys really went, oh, I want that job?
Not with the Mossad running around, man.
No, I'm like, I appreciate you wanting to promote me, but I just, my back and the whole thing. My wife wants me to spend more time at home with the kids. 10 years ago, it would have been all over it, but right now, I respectfully decline. I appreciate the offer.
Or if you just want to make it an honorary position, I wouldn't mind helping you out that way.
Yeah, what's the pay like? Well, it's hazard.
What's interesting, too, is I know that Turkey's Erdogan has come out against this, but I'm not really hearing anything from Egypt, the United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia. I'm not hearing them complaining.
Saudi Arabia, for those, so you're dealing with two versions of Islam that don't like each other. And Saudi Arabia is quietly cheering because the last thing they want, they would be in as much danger as the likes of Israel would be in. Because Saudi Arabia understands that the disdain that they have for each other it's centuries old, and this would not be something that would have gone well for them. And it would absolutely unbalance the Middle East because we would have to make a choice of putting nuclear weapons in certain areas. So it would be a deterrent. And then all of a sudden there's nuclear weapons all over a place that inherently is unstable. We can't have that. So, but I haven't heard like any of the, MBS hasn't come out unless he's done it maybe on True Social. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
But I haven't seen any of the what you would think. Turkey does it because that's what Erdogan does. He plays all sides. That's the guy that plays all the sides he possibly can.
He's everybody's buddy.
He's everybody's buddy and enemy at the same time. So, and you never know if you can trust him, but you can't, but you kind of sometimes have to.
You gotta play ball with him.
Yeah. And
do they have nukes? Does Turkey have nukes?
Well, they're part of NATO. I think I think they do.
Yeah, they probably do.
Oh, goodness me. Too many nukes out there, people. Too many nukes. Coming up, little Finally Friday sounds. Let's have some stuff with some George Jones. A bunch of other stuff straight ahead as well today. More on Alex Padilla, who is, once again, he's off the ventilator after being viciously mandled yesterday.
He was mandled.
Doesn't he have like 18 months worth of rehab to go through, though?
Yeah, it's going to be a long time. They've got to retrain him for everything. I mean, it's just, he was mandled yesterday.
Got to learn how to walk again.
That's it. He's going to be, the whole thing was terrifying. We'll talk about that among other things. Straight ahead, Chad Benson Show. Super Talk 99.7. All right, guys. Raycon, best earbuds around. You will love your Raycons. Summertime is here. You want to be out and about doing stuff. Raycons delivered the best with the everyday earbuds. Great colors to choose from. Best fit around. Best sound quality. Just an all-around amazing piece of audio in this little tiny capsule you get that charges fast. Fast charging. Every 10 minutes gives you 90 minutes of listening. So how many times you've been frustrated? You go to turn your earbuds on. Oh, they don't work. And they don't fit right anyways. But now you get this. You wait 10 minutes. Next thing you know, you got 90 minutes of listening power, which is incredible. Fit, feel, comfort, second to none. We're talking about the best of the best delivered straight to you with the everyday earbuds from Raycon. There's a 30-day happiness guarantee. So just in time to get yourself out there and enjoy the summer with some new earbuds. Check it out. You get a 30-day happiness guarantee, the best earbuds around, tons of colors to choose from. What are you waiting for? Go to buyraycon.com/Chad. Save an extra 15% now. Buyraycon.com/Chad. Buyraycon.com/Chad.
Kilmar Abrego Garcia makes his first court appearance in federal court in Nashville. Israel's ambassador to the UN commenting on Israel's military action against Iran overnight. Iran, meanwhile, asking for an emergency meeting of the United Nations Security Council. Couple of barge workers won't soon forget their day at work today in Middle Tennessee. I'll tell you why at 1:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
So the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia says, hey, we strongly condemn and denounce the blatant Israeli aggression against the brotherly Islamic Republic, wink, wink, good work, guys, which undermines its sovereignty and security. I hope you got all of the nuclear weapons and clear violation of international laws. Bad.
Yeah.
So somebody said, hey, Turkey doesn't have weapons. They don't have nuclear weapons. You know what they do have? They have America's nuclear weapons, which they host as part of NATO.
Ah, yeah.
So it's like your buddy comes over and he moves forever and he says, hey, can you watch my car? Here are the keys. It's paid for and the insurance is there. It's not your car, but it's your car, if that makes sense. So we're just want to make sure that everybody understands. They don't have, but they do have, based on the fact that they're part of NATO and they're on their bases there. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this week has been crazy. We like to take a deep, relaxing look back with our good friend George Jones. It's finally Friday. Come Monday morning, I'll be drunk again. Man, what a few days. Last 24 hours been chaos.
Looks like Iran has fired off some ballistic missiles.
Yeah, the sirens are going off over there.
Yeah.
So, and ballistic is much different than those little
drones.
Those drones. Those drones aren't going to do the kind of damage, and they're going to get shot down. Ballistic missiles. That's why they moved everything underground. And they said they're not done. That's the thing. Israel said, no, this is going to take several days.
Yeah.
They can't think about moving any military, can they? Any kind of boots? That would be insane. Oh,
who knows, man?
I don't know.
I will say this: Israel right now is they're done. October 7th was something that they just said that's it.
Yeah,
we're done.
We're done. We're not taking
Hamas.
anymore.
You're gone. Everybody else around Hamas is gone.
If you knew them, you're gone.
Yep.
If you helped them in any way, shape, or form, you're gone. If you knew somebody who knew somebody, you're gone. How far, though? Because they need us more than anything else. And where is our line? And where's our line? Where's Trump's line with this as well? Because he doesn't want war. He even said yesterday, we want them to succeed, Iran. We want them to have trading partners and everybody can get wealthy.
Trump's trying to make deals with everybody. It's like he's trying to make financial deals with everybody because everybody, it's like what we talk about. If the economy's booming,
yeah,
nothing else matters.
But when you deal with people who have all the things they want, like the Ayatollah, and they have a death cult belief, you're not going to win that. These people are serious about their religion.
Yeah.
And their hatred of people.
There is a belief in the Iranian government that they are meant to be the country that ushers in Armageddon.
Yeah, I know. And Israel's helping with that, it seems. Coming up, more on this. We'll have more on PTSD survivor. Plus an interesting story about Ozempic. Could it help you if you maybe have a few too many pops, if you will? Benson Show, Super Talk 997.
1:30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Just had some heavy rain move through the metro area. Still raining out there, not quite as heavy as that line that has now moved off to the east of downtown Nashville. Continues to move east. We're supposed to have scattered showers all day today, and pretty much there's a chance for showers and storms every day, at least until Monday. We'll be keeping an eye on it for you. Full forecast in 5 minutes. So sirens going off in Israel after Iran has reportedly fired off some ballistic missiles toward Israel in response to Israel's attack on Iran. We'll have more on that in a moment. Right now, Kilmar Abrego Garcia, the Salvadoran man living in Maryland, deported in March but returned to the U.S., pleaded not guilty today to federal human smuggling charges. His wife, Jennifer Vasquez, spoke to supporters gathered outside the Nashville courthouse where Abrego Garcia was arraigned today.
I'm grateful for everyone who has been fighting for this milestone and this fight to bring my husband back home with our children.
Federal prosecutors have asked a federal judge to detain Abrego Garcia as his court proceedings play out, arguing he poses a danger to the community and is a serious flight risk. The Justice Department has claimed Abrego Garcia is a member of the MS-13 gang, an allegation that his attorney and family have denied, and said there is a serious risk that Abrego Garcia would intimidate witnesses. Israel's ambassador to the UN, Danny Danon, commenting on Israel's military action at a press conference in New York today.
We acted to protect our citizens. We acted to prevent a threat that would endanger not only Israel, but the entire world. We will not sit quietly while our people are targeted. Not again, not ever.
And as I just mentioned, Iran claiming now that it has fired off hundreds of missiles toward Israel, and the sirens are going off there. That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Sticky, warm, nasty. How about that new AC you're looking at? Well, now's the time to do it with Busy Bee, because you'll have a chance if you buy this month to win a trip to the beach. Yeah, that's right. A 3-day beach getaway. All you have to do is buy the unit this month. They're going to take care of the vacation, including gas, 2 meals per day, lodging. The winner's going to be announced on Facebook Live. Only clients who purchase this month are eligible. One winner, restrictions apply, but tons of great deals going on right now. Maybe you're like, we don't need that, but we definitely need to get our ducks clean. Well, how about this? You buy the mid-level tier duck cleaning. They're going to give you the upper level right there. They're going to upgrade you to the deluxe package at Busy Bee. Top of that, they got deep discounts on things like tankless water heaters, upright water heaters, 50% off whole home drain repipes. If you want a video inspection, it's only $99 right now, among other things. But let's not forget about joining the Beehive Club. $99 right now gets you 2 years. Buy one, get one free right now with Busy Bee. So what are you waiting for? Get a chance to win that trip. If you got issues with your HVAC, have them come out and look at Busy Bee. Is amazing. They're incredible. They'll take care of you. Tell them I send you. Satisfaction guaranteed. Call Busy Bee today, 775-7833, 775-7833, or online at busybeehvac.com. Keeping an eye on what's going on over there, Israel. There's been a large amount of, I don't know how many, looks like ballistic missiles have been fired off. Somebody just posted something that the Israeli people were sent a text and a notification that they need to seek shelter for the next several days as times are going to get tough. We were talking about earlier the fact that they moved their hospitals underground expecting there to be chaos. And, do we know how many missiles so far?
I don't know how many so far, but Iran claims they have fired off hundreds.
Yeah, I would assume so.
Is this the type of attack that the so-called Golden Dome is supposed to prevent?
I believe the Golden Dome can get a lot of them. The ballistic missiles are a different thing than some of the other stuff they fire at there. And so...
But it's not like every missile fired is going to get through.
No, it's not. Plus, it's also, it's even last time when they fired stuff off, they hit their own country. So they're not great at this, but they've got these, depending on where you read and what you read, because nobody knows. You're not supposed to tell everybody how much you have.
Right.
They have anywhere between 2,000 and 4,000 missiles, ballistic missiles, and they claim to have one that can carry as much as 4,000 pounds of payload, that's a big
bomb.
That's a big bomb. I don't know how the Golden Dome is great, and the Iron Dome. We're building the golden one because it's got to be golden, right, Pony Boy? When it comes to Trump, and at least that's the thought we're going to build one. I don't even know what that thing would cost. So when you're telling your people rather than go to your safe room, you need to get underground. You're expecting stuff that get through.
Yeah.
You're expecting that not everything is going to work. And you can also expect at some point in time, you overwhelm a system, no matter how good it is, that it's going to be, some things are going to misfire, malfunction. So, and then you got to think too, what does Iran have on the ground anywhere around there when it comes to either Hamas or, because now you also have to look over at Lebanon, right? And Yemen. Because this is not going to be, one of those things, although how much they want to get involved at this moment in time remains to be seen. But you're picking a lot of fights. And Iran, you're going to, I think they just want to do it. I think you're right, Ken. I think they're like, let's just finish this.
Israel?
Yeah, but what's it look like afterwards? That's the thing. What's like us, right? Are you going to spend years fighting them so you can replace them with somebody else who comes in and does what?
Well, that's the thing. Netanyahu has said we're going to end Hamas.
Yeah.
Okay, so you end Hamas. Who's next? Well, this region, I don't know if there can ever be peace there,
There can't be.
I don't care. And I applaud President Trump for trying. I absolutely applaud him.
100%.
But, yeah, Israel is, they maybe, who knows? Maybe they had definitive intel that Iran is like this close to having a nuclear bomb. And I'm telling you, you don't want that Ayatollah.
No, you cannot. Because they're, for the most part, everybody that has them, like I never once for a moment think that anybody who's got a nuclear bomb is going to use it unless they were forced to use it because somebody else used it on them.
Right.
I don't think Putin would ever use one.
I don't think he would either.
Because he understands the mutual, assured destruction, essentially.
Right.
I don't think that Xi would ever use one because they all understand what the potential is. Iran, that's a different story. Because they're not coming at it from a diplomatic, political sense.
Right.
They're coming at it from, we believe we are right. We believe this is the right thing to do based on our belief in God. And that's the scary thing. It is. So ballistic missiles, when it comes, I asked my buddy, can they stop them? Yes, they can. But it is going to be a layered defense. They said it is going to still be tough. Some are going to get through. And that's why they're telling them yes, you
get shelter.
You're going to have to get shelter.
Get to shelter.
So
until further notice.
Which is, I mean, that's your people are. It is everybody's all, it's the Iron Dome, guys. Yes, but when we talk about the Iron Dome, we're talking about the run-of-the-mill stuff that they've been shooting off, whether it's Hezbollah or any of these other groups that have fired stuff off. A ballistic missile is something completely different. It's not just as simple as that. As of, oh, this will be good. They can track it. They can take some of them down. But also it comes to the point, too, where even they have mentioned it. You can overwhelm. And it only takes one. So,
yeah, it says it's the Iron Dome is effective, but yes.
Yeah.
The ballistic missile that's a different animal.
That is a different animal. And they're also now saying that it looks like several have gotten through. What does that mean?
Yeah.
Well, if nobody's up there, it doesn't mean anything. It means you've destroyed houses.
Right.
That's it. So so here's what it is. Technically feasible. Intercepting ballistic missiles, especially ICBMs, is extremely difficult due to their high speed, unpredictable trajectories, and countermeasures like decoy warheads or multiple warheads per missile. So according to the American Physical Society, note that even the U.S. defense system against small-scale ICBMs are uncertain. The Golden Dome's ambition to counter advanced threats from Russia and China are even more challenging. And now you talk about the fact that they've got 2,000 to 4,000. Yeah, some are going to get through. There's no doubt. So, I have a feeling, and this is just me, this weekend has a potential to get spicy.
On many fronts.
Yes. So I wonder what Trump is going to do about this.
About Iran?
Or is he just hyper-focused right now because he has a big parade tomorrow? I feel like he's going, everybody's ruining my parade. I really do feel like there's a hyper-focus of his parade. You guys still thinking about the whole thing with the world blowing up? What about my parade? Oh,
yeah, I don't. I would be very surprised if the U.S. delegation and the Iranian delegation got together tomorrow to talk.
Yeah,
about
I don't think it's happening. This is Marcus Moore talking about what's going on and what they've been told over there in Israel when it comes to what's happening.
We can hear some of those explosions. There was one that was strong enough to rattle the wall a little bit here. And certainly it's very active out there. And generally, the thinking is that once those air raid sirens have sounded, that you have about 10 minutes or so to get to a safe place before one of those missiles or projectiles is believed to be a threat in the area.
So pictures are already coming out. 5 to 7 have already hit Tel Aviv.
Okay.
And there is smoke, and it is moderate damage in some areas, some injuries, at least 7 people so far. But obviously, it's hard to tell what's going on because there's chaos, and a vast majority of the people, hopefully, are underground. Oh, dude, it's spicy right now.
Yeah, it's unsettling. What's going on in the world? We're a powder keg right now.
You know, we lived through, and I don't think people realize the last 25 years up until October 7th, and even before before 9/11, it's been a quiet world. The world itself has been violent for a very long time.
Sure.
Conquering has gone on forever. We had a 30-year stretch where it was probably the quietest, arguably, it had ever been. Nobody was, really was pretty quiet. Cold War ended. Everything was kind of quiet. Then obviously 9/11 took place, but it was pretty quiet. This has been, this is the closest I can remember. Because there was tension. I wasn't alive for the, for the Cuban Missile Crisis, but there was tension before, and I think the most tension I can remember as a kid was it when the Russians shot down the airplane. Remember that when they shot down the jetliner? That was very tense. But this is the most tense I've felt that stuff can break out in a way that we've never seen. Right? Because you go back even to the 7-Day War and stuff, it was regional. You never felt like it was coming here, and we weren't getting involved like we are now.
I don't recall in my lifetime a superpower doing, let's say, what Russia is doing to Ukraine.
No.
I know that Israel has always fought back whenever they've been attacked. But like I said, man, October 7th triggered something, and they are a completely different animal.
They are.
I don't know if they're even listening to us.
I don't think they are. To be honest, I do. I myself think that if they were listening to us, I don't think that
yesterday
would have happened. It may happen on Monday or Tuesday, but Trump, they all came out. Even Rubio came out and said this is a unilateral thing. They did this on their own. We're backing them, but they got it. From what I understand, Bibi and Trump talked last week, and it was a shouting match. Because I'm like you. Trump believes everybody wants to be prosperous. He believes everybody wants to be wealthy. He thinks the economy will solve all ills. When you're dealing with people whose religion is so important as to kill the infidels, your religion could be important, right? I'm a Christian, you're a Christian. I don't want to kill the infidel. That is what they believe. They believe that this is their land. This is theirs. It's more than just, hey, here's a few bucks in a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house. And Iran has wanted this for a while, and they were efforting to get it. And yeah, they were probably way closer than a lot of people wanted to believe. But I also think Israel changed a lot after October 7th, and they wanted to make sure that nothing is going to stop them. Now, what's going to happen around the region? That's what I'm waiting for. It's not just Iran. What happens regionally?
Who else gets involved?
If stuff starts to spill over to a certain area, if somebody goes over somebody's no-fly zone and you scramble jets, I mean, that's the kind of thing. It's the unforeseen circumstances and consequences of what's taken place.
Well, and what if, let's say that Modi and whoever's running Pakistan decide, you know what, I just hate you too much. Everybody else is fighting. Let's go at it. Let's go. Because Trump got them to stand down.
He did.
You know, a couple of weeks ago, I guess maybe about a month ago, they started trading missiles.
Yeah, that was pretty nasty.
India is the one to watch.
Yes, because they buy tons of stuff from Iran, but they really don't. They don't like Muslims at all. I mean, you know, if you go and look at Modi and them, that guy has come out and said, if the minute gets more than 20% Muslim in your country's ruined. And you're dealing with a bunch of people in a region that all have different beliefs, but they all are tense around each other. And the potential for this thing to get ugly fast is, I mean, it's been a long time since I've thought to myself, I feel like stuff is about to pop off in a way we've maybe never seen. I hope that doesn't happen.
I felt that way Wednesday whenever the Pentagon was out with that.
Yeah, because it was such a quiet, kind of like under the radar kind of announcement.
Now, hey, if you guys want to leave, just let us know. We'll get your families out. And
it's getting spicy, everybody. Coming up, we got more spicy stuff. We'll find out how Alex Padilla, maybe we'll give him a call and see if he's okay. After the incident yesterday, much like what's taking place in Iran, he got invaded by an FBI guy. Even CNN's like, you guys are so stupid to think this was real. It's the Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7. Birch gold is awesome. At a time like this, guys, can I just say, having gold, not a bad thing. You know, next month they're meeting. They're calling it the Rio Reset. There's several countries, China, Russia, Iran, that would all love to get away from the dollar and potentially crush it. So what would happen? Well, you know what would happen. That's why gold is a great safe haven, and many, many big banks and investors have been slowly but surely moving stuff over there to precious metals, and that's why Birch is so important, and they're going to help you, especially in uncertain times. I want you to text the word Benson to 989898 today. They're going to get you out an info kit. It's about informing you, letting you make the right decision for yourself, whether it's about your 401k or your other investments, or maybe just having the physical. Let them show you what they can do for you. They're the company I trust, and I know you should give them a shot because they are amazing. Text the word now, Benson, to 989898 today to get an info kit from my friends over at Birch Gold.
Iran is striking back. Kilmar Abrego Garcia pleads not guilty in Nashville. The two flight data recorders in the Air India plane crash have been found. And moms are getting older. Details at 2 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I can't effing believe it. See what I said there? But I bleep myself. And the reason I'm saying that, new study out. Americans use vulgar language online more than any other English-speaking country at a rate of roughly 1 in every 2,800 words.
Oh, I can beat that average in a big way.
All the time. Countries where English is a native language, okay? They show much more creativity and a variety in their profanity compared to places where English is a second language. Regional preferences emerge clearly. The Irish favors the F word, the British, the C word, and the Americans lean towards the a-hole word.
Well, on Mobland, it seems like the Irish favor the C word.
Oh, they use it a lot. They use it a lot. Oh, yes. So do the Scottish. Just to let you guys know that. Yeah, we are really, well, we're creative, though. See, that's just it. And, everybody's funny. I hear people say, you guys cuss. You guys do realize that people who cuss tend to have intelligence, more intelligence. It's the way you cuss that matters. It's the way you cuss. Just letting you guys know that. I didn't make it up. I didn't do the study. There's several studies out there. And did you see? This study says we're creative in the way we use our stuff. 1 in 2,800 words. I find that to be a little light.
That actually sounds extraordinarily light to me.
Maybe they were being kind.
I was getting ready to say every post I'd look at.
Yeah, there's some sort of horrific thing in there.
I could be talking to my grandmother and I'm spitting out more curse words than that.
So when it comes to things like chat rooms, Americans love to drop the F-bomb in those. Now, this was 2 billion words they analyzed across several websites, including the 20 English-speaking countries, and we definitely led the way. So how about that? The United States, often associated with Protestant Puritanism, I don't know where that's at, followed by Great Britain. They were second. The Brits, they love cussing. It's like part of the thing they do. That we should have an Olympics for that. The Aussies like to cuss too. I'm surprised they're not higher up in this.
The Aussies do?
Oh yeah, they love cussing. They're a C word fan. Oh, are they a C word fan? I want to buy any of that. So, and there's also regional taste in taboo language as well. So, if the Brits are arguing with each other, they may use the word bloody, which is
that's apparently a bad word.
That's a very bad word over there. So the regional battle goes, where they may use the C word battling with each other, that isn't as, for us, we're like, we recoil. But for them, it's something they use a lot more often. Doesn't really mean, like bloody to them is more offensive. So there you guys go. We are cursors. And apparently we were a Puritan at some point in time in the last, I don't know, not since we've had the internet.
Fiddlesticks.
Oh, fiddly sticks.
Watch your language before we lose our license.
The Brits do sound very sophisticated. Coming up, more on what's going on in Israel. It is happening. The attacks have ramped up tonight. Israel, of course, last night hit hard. There was a kind of show of force, but so far 100-plus ballistic missiles have been fired. 7 or so have hit Israel's in Tel Aviv, and we'll touch on that, see what's going on over there. A bunch of other things as well in hour number 3 of the award-winning, but yet to win an award, Chad Benson Show.
Two o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Right now, we've got a severe thunderstorm warning for Murray County and Hickman County. This is for about the next 15 minutes. Radar's indicating a severe thunderstorm near Hohenwald, moving northeast at 40 miles per hour. All of this activity is to the south of Nashville. Again, moving to the northeast at 40 miles per hour. Severe thunderstorm warning there for Murray and Hickman County until 2:15. Got the full forecast coming up in 5 minutes. Right now in the Middle East, Israeli Defense Forces reporting missiles incoming to Tel Aviv and central Israel. IDF telling the public take another shelter, or rather take shelter, that is, until further notice. Iran says it has fired off hundreds of ballistic missiles Here's Marcus Moore.
This is expected. They expected some sort of retaliation from Iran. This could either be drones or it could be missiles. Iran is capable of both of those things. There is a shelter in place throughout Israel for American citizens. Certainly, Israelis are very used to this.
Yeah, Martha Raddatz says airlines have halted flights to and from Tel Aviv following this strike. Israel's ambassador to the UN, Danny Denon, commenting on Israel's military action at a press conference today in New York.
Israel uncovered clear evidence that the Iranian regime was planning a surprise attack in coordination with their proxies. They had planned to invade from all sides, with thousands of terrorists and thousands of projectiles.
Yeah, earlier today, before Iran started firing missiles, they had asked for an emergency meeting of the United Nations Security Council to condemn Israel's attack. Kilmar Abrego Garcia pleading not guilty today to human smuggling charges 1 week after he was brought back to the United States from detention in El Salvador. The 29-year-old Salvadoran entered his plea at his arraignment here in Nashville, where federal prosecutors have charged him with transporting undocumented migrants within the U.S. in what they say was a conspiracy involving the domestic transport of thousands of non-citizens from Mexico and Central America, including some children, in exchange for thousands of dollars. Elsewhere here in Middle Tennessee, police investigating after a human foot was discovered at the Old Hickory Dam on Old Hickory Lake this morning. Officers were called to the dam located on Cinder Road around 7:45. According to Metro Police, barge workers were conducting perimeter sweeps when they noticed a human left foot pinned between two barges. Moms are getting older. ABC's Sherry Preston with more on the steadily climbing age of mothers.
The CDC says in a new report, the average age of all mothers giving birth in the United States is now just shy of 30 years old, up from almost 29 years old in 2016. First-time moms are, on average, 27 and a half, also up from 2016. One striking statistic has to do with the age difference between moms in metro areas versus rural areas. In big cities, the average age of moms giving birth is 28 and a half years old. In rural areas, women give birth on average 4 years younger than that. Sherry Preston, ABC News.
That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
I don't know what WSMV is doing. I'm trying to watch the Gulf, and they're breaking in, talking about the weather, all right? Just look outside. Weather's happening. There's a heat index, just to let you guys know. Speaking of heat index, did that guy from Israel say that they thought that Iran was going to invade them?
Yeah, he says they have intelligence that Iran and its proxies had planned to invade Israel from several different directions.
That is a whole, that's a whole nother world we've been talking about. Like, that's war.
Yeah.
This is, trading tit for tat with the chance of it getting far uglier. But even yesterday, look, for all the stuff we talk about Israel, did you see the building where they got one of their generals?
Yes.
The building's fine. There's a small area where they went and got him. I mean, it was that precise.
Little bitty area, and they knew exactly where he was going to be. I'm telling you, man, that Mossad.
Do not mess with them. Do not mess with the Mossad. They are serious about what they do. They are. And they're saying anywhere between 15 and 18 months they've been inside of Iran.
Yeah. And so what I'm gathering is some of these bombs that went off had been planted.
Yeah.
Or the drones had been planted. And then whenever it came time for yesterday, they sat back and activated them.
It is you and I were talking, it is a scary situation right now. And could you imagine if 1,000+ foreign, we're talking about like fighters, which you got with Hamas, as horrible as they were. A lot of them were just, pissed off, angry people who feel like their world's been torn upside down. It's Israel's fault, and they've been tricked into their death cult. And them coming in there is different than having maybe parts of their national, their guard, the Republican Guard, and all these that would have been, oh God.
Yeah. Well, they said that, he says, Dannon says they were going to use the proxies, so that tells me Hezbollah.
Yeah.
Who else? They've got a lot of them.
Yeah, it would have been Hezbollah. I don't even know at this point in time who else it would have been, because Hamas is pretty much wiped out. I mean, you still have remnants of it, and it doesn't take. By the way, there's no organization as far as like you have to go fill out paperwork to be part of Hamas. So you're 32 and you've seen your family slaughtered. Now you can pick up a gun, decide to go kill somebody. They're fine with that. That's your filling out.
Yeah, if they've got a vest that'll fit you that you can blow yourself up with, you're in.
So it's not like you have to go do training. But who else would have been? You've got Hezbollah.
Asaib al-Haq. I do not know who they are.
Those people.
That organization.
Is it Acai Berry?
What's the group out of Lebanon?
That's Hezbollah.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, you got Hezbollah. And then you got the Yemen, those guys, they've kind of put their stuff down after.
Oh, the Houthis.
Yeah, the Houthis. I think they're kind of, I mean, they would. You probably could get some, but they've felt the wrath of a few of our things and said, yeah, this isn't good for us.
That hurt.
Yeah. Ow. That was that. Well, you guys are for real, huh? And this goes back to what we talked about. How, at that point in time, because if you feel that was imminent, then those people that you think were going to do it must be close enough by that that's still a possibility.
That's what you would think, yeah.
You would have to think that.
I mean, otherwise they're going to be seen.
Yeah. So what is it? Are they in the country or are they on the other side of the border? And this goes back to also, did they sneak over into Jordan? Are they in areas around places we wouldn't think? Did they come through? I mean, these are all the things you have to think about in this situation. And if they were to invade in that kind of, because those are probably not only shooters, those are suicide bombers. And that's what I'm waiting for next in Israel is some of those attacks that you think might happen from the inside, which is what I worry about here too.
Absolutely.
Because they can't reach us. They can't. These people, but we've spent the last 4 years allowing anybody who wanted to come here, essentially come here with very little way to find out who they were and what they were about, especially in countries where we need to know these things.
Well, and everybody focuses on the Latinos.
Yes.
There were a lot of Chinese nationals coming in.
They found more than one terrorist, one person on the terrorist watch list trying to cross the southern border.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And remember, we released some of them. We're like, yeah, we got to go find that guy. But it's the gotaways I've always worried about, because knowing who somebody is one thing. Not knowing, that's the scary part.
Yeah, I remember watching it was a CBS News report. There was a farmer I want to say in Texas, right there on the border. He had put up, the government had helped him put up some fencing, but illegals, had obviously broken through, found a way to get through it. And a CBS crew is standing there watching Chinese national after Chinese national just come through. And they would try to ask them questions. I mean, they weren't saying a word.
No.
And they were just going on their business. And that farmer's just sitting there saying, I've been telling the government about it.
When people say fighting age, because if it's a 63-year-old woman or a 92-year-old man with his daughter, you're not really worried about the violence that may come from them.
No.
But if it's 7 guys with shaved heads who look like they were working out.
In their 20s.
You pay attention in a much different way.
Yes.
Than, like I said, a woman and child. It's common sense. We know what we're looking for. So they said they're increasing. They must think, too, that there could be something here. That's what I worry about tomorrow. Across the board with all of the stuff that's going on would be a perfect time to cause chaos and hell and havoc, even if you don't care about what's going on with illegal immigration or Trump, just to cause having hundreds of thousands of people on 1,500 different sites across the nation.
Yeah.
That are, the police are there and all that kind of stuff, but you've got a large audience, and that's what these people care about. Ooh,
keep your head on a swivel, everybody.
Head on a swivel, or stay indoors and watch the U.S. Open. It's fun. So tell me, well, I am watching it right now. I'm looking at Bryson. He's on the 15th. Second shot. He's in the deep stuff right now, Ken. Oh, he muscled it out because he's Bryson DeChambeau.
Bryson DeChambeau.
He is, he's fun to watch. The PGA's got to, if they're going to try to steal one person back, it has to be that guy. Because he's got such a huge, he's great with the kids, right? He does all the stuff on the old YouTube, and that's what people like.
Who's this Spawn and Lawrence?
So Thurston Lawrence is South African.
Okay.
And JJ Spawn he's been there close a couple times. He lost in a playoff this year at the Players to McIlroy. He is so close on a few occasions, and he's got a shot. And if you're under 4, if you're 4 and under over the weekend, you got a real good shot.
Yeah, they're the leaders.
Yeah, but things could change. And this course was built to humble the best in the world. That's why they built this all those years ago. This guy built one course ever in his life, and this was it. And it is humbling, to say the least.
Interesting.
Speaking of humbling weather out there, what is...
Got a severe thunderstorm warning right now, Brother Chad.
For how long?
It's supposed to expire any moment now. However, they have extended it now and added a couple of counties. We've got a severe thunderstorm warning now until 2:45 for Dixon, Murray, Williamson, Hickman, and Lewis counties. Right now, radar indicating a severe thunderstorm 8 miles southeast of Centerville. It is moving northeast at 40 miles per hour. All of this activity to the southwest of Nashville, moving to the northeast.
That's a good clip right there.
40 miles per hour. Yeah, that's a pretty good clip for a storm.
So I hope it, plus it's really humid out there.
Very humid.
I came in, I got a couple sprinkles on the way. Nothing bad on my walk.
That's way to go, Brother Chad.
But I will tell you that, and because I'm so fast, I can run in between them. Is what makes me so amazing. But you could feel like it felt like it was a balloon ready to pop, though, because it was so kind of.
Yeah, that Gulf of America is warming up, baby. Ooh. All that water in the air is coming our way. You haven't seen anything yet.
No, I haven't.
Wait till next month in August.
Although the rain, though, it's funny. Everybody says, dude, it rains, but normally not this month, like this much.
Yeah, this type of rain is more so. My 10 years here in Tennessee, I have noticed that the month of August is when it can rain on you every day in August. But it'll rain, and then the sun will pop back out in a half hour. Just kind of isolated. Areas of rain pop up. This is. I don't want to say this is isolated. There's apparently a cold front headed our way, and ahead of it, we've got this line. The line is well to the east of us, but behind it, we're getting some more activity just to the west of Nashville that is popping up. Looks like it's trying to line up. So that's what it's good. This is what the National Weather Service says it's going to be for the next 3 days at least.
Global warming.
Global. I like my global warming mild, like a hot sauce, right? Like you have mild, you have hot, you have en fuego. I like it's funny. I love the en fuego, but I don't like the taste. I don't mind the spice, but sometimes the taste I'm not a fan of.
I can completely relate to that.
So I've got to try to mix and match. You know what? Speaking of the attack, one of the things that has been a open secret in D.C. forever is pizza.
Pizza.
Pizza has been an open secret about what's going on in D.C. And apparently, the other night, so many pizzas were ordered late at night.
Oh, I see what
into
you're
the
saying.
day. Meaning they knew something was and this has been this way forever. When they're ordering the amount of pizza they're ordering to the places they're ordering it, you know that something's going down because people are staying late and this is what they're eating. Normally, the Pentagon isn't probably everybody there eating pizza. But when you're ordering hundreds of pizzas, it's because you understand that something's coming. And this goes back to the other day when they were we got that kind of quiet, hey, we told everybody in these areas to leave and we're sending some planes for them kind of thing, which is crazy. And there's actually an account called Pentagon Pizza Report, and it monitors the traffic at the pizza takeaway spots in Arlington, home of the American military headquarters, as well as there's a place called the Pizza Index, which is a place where they track the pizza and who's ordering what, where, and takeout, and where it's headed. Because when you see that, if Congress is there, they're trying to get a bill through. But when it's the military, stuff's going down. Coming up, a lot of stuff still to get to. I want to get to that Ozempic report as well. More on what's happening in Israel, and we're going to continue to check in and see if Alex Padilla, the senator who was savagely attacked yesterday in front of the world, if he is still alive and doing interviews with everybody except for us. Oh, come on, Alex.
Didn't ICE try to kill him?
He did. The ice, it was not just ice. It was vanilla. It was tea. It was cube. All of them. Everybody. All tried to get him to him yesterday. I can't believe it's Jeff Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7. All right, guys, Prize Picks, great opportunities for you to continue to win with Prize Picks. You can win up to 2,000 times your money in cash every day. There's opportunities abound. Why Prize Picks? Simple and easy. This is what you do with Prize Picks. You're picking players, not teams. You're doing statistics, not spreads. So it's more or less, okay? So when you look at somebody and their statistics, let's say the basketball championships, do you think this player is going to get more than 15.5 points? Baseball, maybe hits. It may be strikeouts. It may be anything like that, stolen bases. That's what you're picking, and it's simple and easy, and it's fun. How about a guaranteed $50 in your first win, no matter what happens on your first $5 play when you use my code CHAD? So you download the app, use my code CHAD. So no matter what happens, you get a $50 bonus in your first $5 play. It is simple and easy to do. So what are you waiting for? Download the app today. Use my code CHAD and get your first $50 bonus on your first $5 play. Simple and easy to do. Prize Picks, run your game. Must be 21 and present in Tennessee. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-426-2537.
All right, TDOT says traffic is stopped going eastbound on 24 between I-40, exit 52A and B, and Murfreesboro Pike, exit 52. Also 24 eastbound between Murfreesboro Pike, exit 52, and I-440, exit 53. TDOT just says traffic is stopped for some reason. We've got stop-and-go traffic on I-40 eastbound at Church Street, exit 209A, and then a multi-vehicle crash in West Nashville. This is 40 eastbound between exit 205 and exit 209B. Iran is striking back. We've got that for you coming up at 2:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
So somebody just sent me this off the Economic Times. Pentagon's Pizza Index has predicted 21 crises in a row.
Interesting.
Spot on.
Interesting. I would not have thought about that.
Yeah, you guys need to figure
You
something
looking at
out.
the article that TB emailed in or texted
Yeah.
in? Yeah, I was reading that too. It's
Yeah,
pretty
so-
interesting.
That makes sense.
You guys need to start bringing your lunch.
They need to just put a pizza joint in the Pentagon.
No doubt.
And a Starbucks.
Like, how hard can that be? Just throw something in there, you know? Trump's like, give him a McDonald's.
They got to have a cafeteria.
And then behind him, JFK, Robert F. Kennedy, like, don't do that. Maybe just put a salad bar in there. It's like, they don't want that. They're going to war. Oh, my Lord. This is,
We got to laugh to keep from crying, man.
I just want to remind everybody how blessed we are.
Yeah.
Our founding fathers knew we were never going to be in a situation where we were ever going to be invaded in any real. And we could sit here and talk about the invasion of all these people are coming from all over, but we were never going to be taken over in a way where we were going to see things line up and missiles flying toward. That stuff's not going to happen. Okay, it just isn't. We don't live in a place where our neighbors all want to kill us, and we want to kill them. You think about how blessed we are. In that I'm sitting here watching the golf, right? Like Thomas Dietrich just knocked a nice little, he got an eagle here, just hit one out.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was awesome. I mean, we're so blessed. We're sitting here talking on the radio, we're having fun. There are people who are running for cover all over the globe, but this is getting much seriousness because of who the players are. But also think about tonight. How many people are in Africa right now in the middle of conflict in Sudan and South Sudan and whatever the Democrat of this is called this week? And we are living in the best time in human history, but we need to sometimes take a step back and go, man, we're blessed. I mean, big time in a huge way. I mean, outside of, yesterday, Trump ordering the destruction of Alex Padilla, it's been pretty quiet. Did he live? Oh, he did.
We understand he's getting better.
He's getting better. He's not 100%.
He started taking fluids on his own.
Oh, thank God. He wasn't breathing earlier on his own. They got that big machine, the iron lung.
So he's off the respirator?
He is off the respirator, and he's blinking. That's his. Don't talk.
Looks like one of those missiles hit a high-rise in Tel Aviv they're focused on.
Yeah. You know what's amazing is the fact that there are a bunch of camera people standing out there filming this for news around the world.
Yeah.
Well, this shot has to be from a static camera that's just facing the street.
Just kind of, like a traffic camera?
Yeah, something like that.
I'm looking at one from on top of a building, and Israel is telling some of these news people, do not take any more of these pictures out there because you could be putting people at risk. And the media is like, we're going to continue to have pictures. The world needs to know. So this is, I don't know. It's just
this has been going on a while.
Yeah, I mean,
what, about an hour now?
It's been going on for an hour, and so I was listening to a guy earlier talk about they average about 90% total, even with ballistic missiles, because there's 3 to 4 different levels before you ever get to the Iron Dome. And so if there's enough warning, which there seems to be, and they shoot them in groups of like 100. He did say that they could be overwhelmed at a certain extent, but when you shoot them in groups of 100, they expect about a 7 to 10% get-through rate. So if they shoot 100, you expect anywhere between 7 and 10 to get through. It's the warning that keeps the people safe. Having the most important thing is having the opportunity to know things are coming gives the people the opportunity to be safe. There's no surprise.
So you can get out of the building before it may accidentally be hit or just gets hit by one of those that sneaks through.
Like we have the Doppler 5000. I'm looking here, live radar. First weather on WSMV. Man, that is some nasty weather out there.
That's some heavy rain and thunder, right? That's where that severe thunderstorm warning is there, right there over Centerville.
That's right. Look at that. That is some ugly stuff going on. But that's what they have for missiles. Essentially, that kind of thing. Like it's cloudy with a chance of ballistic.
Yeah.
So ugly. We're going to touch more on this. We've got some stuff about Alex Padilla as well, as everybody freaked out yesterday over yes, I'm going to say this, the senator that nobody knew who he was outside of his family. What took place yesterday and watching people clutch their pearls over this. If you miss any of these show, we say shame on you. It is the Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7.
2:30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. We've got a severe thunderstorm warning for some counties to the south and west of Nashville. Right now, severe thunderstorm warning in effect until 2:45 for Dixon, northwestern Murray, southwestern Williamson, eastern Hickman counties. A severe thunderstorm about 10 miles east of Centerville. It's moving northeast at 40 miles per hour. We got the full forecast coming up in 5 minutes.
This is a special report from ABC News. I'm Michelle Franzen. Air raid sirens sounding across Israel. An IDF official tells ABC News dozens of ballistic missiles fired from Iran are incoming towards central Israel this hour. Israel's Iron Dome air defense systems intercepting many of those missiles, but some could get through. ABC's Marcus Moore is in Tel Aviv reporting from a shelter.
We can hear some of those explosions. There was one that was strong enough to rattle the wall a little bit here. And certainly it's very active out there. And generally, the thinking is that once those air raid sirens have sounded, that you have about 10 minutes or so to get to a safe place before one of those missiles or projectiles is believed to be a threat.
Iran's response due to Israel's strikes on Iranian nuclear sites and killing Iran's top military leaders and scientists. This is ABC News.
Right now in Middle Tennessee, Kilmar Abrego Garcia pleading not guilty today to human smuggling charges 1 week after he was brought back to the United States from detention in El Salvador. The 29-year-old entering his plea at the arraignment here in Nashville. His attorneys are arguing that he be released until his trial. That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Beacon Capital Management. Right now is your chance to give them a call and talk about what's going on. And I think if you've seen all the stuff that's happening out there, the smart thing to do is, hey, am we positioned right when it comes to our money? But Beacon wants to be your full-service investment advisor. So you call them today at 615-488-9303, 615-488-9303. You can go down and meet them. The beauty of this, and you get your free Retirement Ready Toolkit. In it, you're going to have a Money Enough for Life book, retirement planning checklist, and a Maximizing Your Retirement Income white paper. A great thing is there's no obligation, no cost. They're not trying to come on, you got to sign. No, they want to give you all the information, arm you with that, have a conversation, and, retirement. You get one of these things. You don't want to unretire unless you want to because you've decided to do something else with your life. But Beacon can also help you with things like healthcare, estate planning, tax planning, all of those things that maybe we forget about as we get older and think, well, I'm retired now. No, those things still have to happen. Call them today. Find out what they can do for you. Beacon Capital Management. Get your free retirement ready toolkit, 615-488-9303, or look out everything they do online at askbeaconnow.com. Rough Greens, ruffgreens.com/chat. Use that code to get yourself a free Jumpstart trial bag of the best supplement in the world that you can give your dogs. If you're like me and you love your animals, and I love my animals, I want them healthy, I want them happy for as long as possible, and Rough Greens does that. You don't have to change anything with your dog's food. That's what I tell everybody at Rough Greens. It's not food. It's a supplement. It's powder form. You sprinkle it on top of your dog's food, and voila. They're going to love the taste. You'll love what it does for them. I've been giving my dogs, since we brought them home, the little ones, this forever. It's incredible. But my older dog, who passed away last year, and everybody says, oh, well, he died. Yeah, well, we were going to put him to sleep like 6+ years ago. We started giving him Rough Greens, and his life changed. He became a whole new dog, and he got a new lease on life, and he was healthy and happy for many, many years, and we got all that time with him, and we loved it. So if you're like me and you love your animals and you want them healthy, try Rough Greens. Don't change anything with your dog's food. Just add this to it. Watch what happens. It's 1 scoop a day. Keep the vet away. ruffgreens.com/Chad. When you do that, you get a Jumpstart trial bag of Rough Greens for free, $20 value. You cover the cost of shipping. ruffgreens.com/Chad.
What you really have to watch for in these coming days is how serious Iran's assault is on Israel. Israel will respond in kind, and even worse. So whatever the Iranians do right now, whatever they do in the coming days, will be met with massive force by the Israelis. So the Iranians have to take that into consideration.
They have no choice. Iran has to do something. They were humbled in more ways than one. And it wasn't just what happened in April. You guys have to also remember of last year, but also go and think about Hezbollah, because that's their proxy. Essentially, that's an arm of, and man, did they get their butts handed to them. Like in an embarrassing way. Remember when they killed their leader at like he's having a big, rally?
Yeah.
And they're like, you're dead.
Boom.
Boom. And then, so
there was that guy they got with the drone where they had bombed the apartment building, and he's sitting in his chair.
They lit him on fire.
Take him out.
And if you think about even going back to the Hamas's leader, when they chased him around and they finally got him, and that was the other drone. They just kind of stared right at him, and he was they're coming for you. So, but you have to show something back to them. And they've depleted Hamas. They have, we kind of took care of a lot, because the Houthis were mostly firing at the ships, but we just said, hey, whack, 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 stop that. And they're like, hey, we're done. But you've got Hezbollah, and what was the other one you said earlier? Kids, some weird.
I'd have to go back.
Allah, ba, whatever it was. Some.
Yeah, I can't find it.
No. So, and then now you've got Iran, and this has been going on for a long time. I was surprised, though, earlier when their guy at the UN came out and said this, because this, to me, is fascinating.
Israel uncovered clear evidence that the Iranian regime was planning a surprise attack in coordination with their proxies. They had planned to invade from all sides, with thousands of terrorists and thousands of projectiles.
That's an invasion. You're not talking about a, we sit here and they're invading us. Well, to pick our fruit, to work at our hotels, that's a much different thing comparatively to what they're talking about. Because you got to think about the size of Israel and how, even if you compare 9/11 and what took place on October 7th, the massive size of what took place. So this is going to be, I think a spicy weekend is a possibility. And Israel said last night that this was going to be several waves of attack. And man, having Mossad inside of Iran for...
what else do they have planted there?
I don't know. We go back to the phones. Somebody said, remember the phones? Remember the phones? And they all started exploding.
That was incredible.
That was incredible. And these aren't knee-jerk things, right? The phones, that took...
months.
Oh, forever and a day.
That was a lot of planning that went into that.
They've said Mossad had been inside of the Iranian, inside of Iran and Tehran for up to 18 months.
For this attack.
So what else, like you said, what else is planned? And the other thing is, if you're Iran right now, what are you thinking about? They have to have people on the inside. Who are the people that they may have that are working with them, even though they may represent Iran? The fact is they're double agents. So everybody then starts guessing, oh my God, who's it? Who is it? We know it wasn't the people they blew up last night, which was fascinating, again, in a horrible way, as a humanity thing. But understand that sometimes the greater good looks like that. They didn't destroy the apartment building. They took down a portion of the building where the guy was.
The room.
Even the neighbors the building shook, but that was it.
That's incredible.
That is incredible. They drove it right in there. Wait till they get the super facial recognition with those things. Oh,
what's it? I'm telling you, man, I got to see how Israel responds to this.
Yes.
And I think Martha is dead on with her report. It's going to be worse than what we just saw from Iran.
Well,
I think Iran's attack is over right now.
Yeah, for right now. But we know what it is. We know what they do. You punch them. It reminds me of, do you remember Sean Connery in The Untouchables?
Sean Connery.
Yeah, Sean Connery.
Great movie.
They put one of yours in the hospital. You put one of theirs in a morgue.
Yep.
That's what they do. They don't reply in kind. They reply times 10. And they expected this. That's why they have their people. And I was listening to Michael Oren, who's over there. He lives over there. He's a reporter, talking about the fact that, look, the sophistication of the alert system that they have, that everybody gets these things. They know exactly what to do and where to go. And that's in saving people, which is Israel's goal, number one. That's the most important thing. Because these bombs, these ballistic missiles would do damage if there was 50 people there. But there's not, because nobody's around. Because they know where to go and what to do. Which is, think about what we think about Israel, how sophisticated they are, but also think about the fact that our kids, they don't have to practice air raid sirens all the time. They don't get called in for recess to go into a room because, Hamas has fired something off.
Mm-hmm.
Which is a blessing. Man, it's going to be ugly. I just feel like it's more work for me. On a selfish note, I feel like
at some point you'll have to start explaining stop, drop, and roll.
Yeah.
Are you going to do your shows again today?
Yeah, I don't know.
From under a desk.
Jeez, just insane. Kilmar Abrego, he's pled not guilty, but they're not releasing him.
Not yet, anyway. I wonder if this is one of those things where the judge can just make a ruling whenever.
Yeah, because what's the next phase, right? Because so not guilty. So now it's you got to set a time for trial.
I guess you set a time for trial, preliminary hearing, evidentiary hearings.
All of that stuff. Are they going to plead him out? He pleads, guilty to yes, I transported people for people I work with, but I'll leave the country kind of thing. And by the way, the feds, if you guys know anything about the feds, go look at the numbers. The feds only try things they know they're going to win. They don't try anything else. They're not a bunch of triers. If it's 50-50, they're probably not doing it.
They want the W.
They want the W because you don't move up without getting the W. And there's a great book out about the fact that, and the numbers bear it out too. They're like 99.2% victory. They overcharge you to get you to do what? To plead down.
Plead down, yeah.
To plead down, or they'll bankrupt you because they have unlimited funds and you eventually run out of money.
And have to plead to something because you have no ability to continue to fight.
There you go. So if there's 100 cases, almost 100 of them are going to be a victory because there may be 1,000 cases, but they're only taking the 100 they know they can win. So they know they're going to get something on this guy. And this guy, though, the one thing that he has, Garcia, is he's a father. No. The one thing he has is, for whatever reason, he's going to have unlimited funds when it comes to lawyers.
Yeah, his lawyer is, Simon Sandoval Moschenberg. He is a partner and head of litigation in Murray Osorio's Fairfax office.
That's a lot of stuff going on right there.
Yeah, he's part of... let's see, prior to joining Osorio, he was the litigation director and director of the Immigrant Justice Program. So he is an expert in American immigration law. He is an active member of American Immigration Lawyers Association, or the AILA.
Yeah, those people.
And he serves on the AILA's Federal Court Litigation Section Steering Committee and Benefits Litigation Committee. In other words, he's an immigration lawyer.
He's a hitter probably too. He's probably a few $100 an hour. Like if you're going to him, you are probably trying to get your citizenship and you've paid a ton of money and you're just trying to, make sure that you filled all the paperwork correctly.
What do you think? DNC paying him?
Oh, well, there's probably a lot of nonprofits out there that are getting money that are going to funnel it to this guy, and this guy is going to, and he probably has several other lawyers that will come help and pro bono this out because it helps them.
Yeah.
So he is not going to get the treatment that the average person who's broke AF gets, regardless of color.
No.
Which is, this is Stu.
Yeah.
Stu's got 97 cases to get to today. He may learn your name, but he's going to tell you, plead down. I need to get you off my docket.
One moment, Judge. Now, what's your name?
Yeah. He didn't do it, I think.
He accused you of what?
Yeah. Oh, that's not good. Did you do it?
Just say you did it. Let's get out of here.
Oh, my Lord. I'm kind of worried about tomorrow. So we've got the big beautiful tank event.
The big beautiful tank parade.
Yes. I'm kind of worried about the gotaways and what potentially could be your sleeper cells. And I also worry about, you may not like the people because you love Trump and you think, oh, these people are bad, the no kings. I don't want to see anybody get hurt.
No.
And the potential of having a lot of people in an area where you can go and pretend to do something because you can carry a backpack and maybe do something horrific because all you care about is numbers. You don't care about anything else.
Yeah, they're not going to be checking backpacks.
No. And it wouldn't have time. And for these protests tomorrow. So, good God, that's going to be scary. Although they said that where Trump is and where this place is taking, you'd have to have some cojones to try to attack that.
Yeah.
Because Trump would just tell him, start shooting.
Yeah. I think the response will be a lot faster than it was in Butler.
Yes. Oh, God, yeah. This would be, and it would be bigger.
Yes.
It would be big. But this is, these people are sophisticated. Everybody thinks that they're not. They're smart. They understand. You've had somebody there months ago. I mean, we just talked about the Mossad. They were there for 18 months. So could there, in theory, you don't know. You have no idea. But with all of the gatherings, how many people? 1,500, give or take, is the No King?
Yeah, at least 1,500 No Kings rallies are planned across the nation.
I wonder, New York, Chicago, L.A., those are going to be massive.
Seattle,
San Francisco, Portland. Although it's hard to tell in some of these places because they're always marching for something.
Yeah, especially in Seattle.
Yeah,
and
Seattle.
Portland.
It's nonstop people marching around. You guys have nothing to do all day?
They actually don't.
They don't. No. So I do worry about that. And Trump apparently, one of the Senator Mullen came out and said, Trump has told them that he will unleash the full force of the military might if they think about attacking anywhere in America.
And he probably will.
Oh, he probably would. He wouldn't put, you know what he wouldn't do? He wouldn't put boots on the ground, but you know what he would do? He'd unleash the kind of hell where you don't see it, you don't hear it, but we get pictures afterwards.
Kind of like Soleimani found out in Iraq.
Yeah, but much bigger.
B-50, some actually B-2 stealth bombers
The
flying
stealth
over
bombers,
your
yeah.
country, dropping some loads.
Mm-hmm. You do, and that's a different world. That's a different world. And the last night, all the planes, they were met with no resistance from Iran. Iran doesn't have that.
They don't have a defense.
No, they don't. You know what their defense?
They've got an Air Force, but it's kind of tiny and it's mostly made up of old MiGs.
Yeah, there's nothing. They've got nothing there. They're fighting still in the 70s and 80s. It's still a Cold War for them. Coming up, we'll wrap it up. I think Matt's going to come in. We're going to ask him how his little trip was today. He went downtown to the Abrego Garcia. Yes, and we've seen some of the pictures, and boy, that looked like that was off the chain. Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 987.
For many of us, generators are becoming a must-have household appliance. From unpredictable weather to surprise outages, it's better to be safe than sorry. Generator Supercenter of Nashville offers fast and easy installations with 24/7 service and monitoring to all brands of generators and expert repairs done right. Our mission is to make owning a backup generator simple and easy. Visit your local store today or check us out online. Generator Supercenter of Nashville. We serve all Middle Tennessee.
I was looking at crowd estimate sizes. New York, 100,000 tomorrow. L.A., 250,000 estimate. Philadelphia, about 80,000. Des Moines, 2,000. And
Nashville?
They're not saying.
Oh.
They're expecting, though, at least 1 million to 2 million people between all of those. I don't know how many are coming out to, to the military. Apparently, there's a Craigslist ad out there for cryptocurrency if you'd like to be a seat filler.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
I've already lost one of my wallets. I'm not going to do this again.
I mean, they're paying all the liberals, right? So
There you
why
go.
not?
Why not? Turnabout's fair play. Hey, if you're just looking for money, this is it.
And this is a lucrative Saturday, it sounds like.
I don't know if I want to be in a crowd with all the stuff that's going on.
I'm going to be in Hendersonville, and then I'm going to be having an MRI. So
tomorrow?
Yeah, for some reason.
That's a weird.
I know.
Matt loves to rub his exciting life in our face.
I know.
Wow.
Hendersonville at Volunteer Outfitters for a couple of hours, and then the big MRI on a Saturday, which
again is an odd thing. How was the speaking of going places?
Oh,
you
today?
and Dan, hanging out.
Oh yeah, Dan and I doing big things. Dan's a fun hang.
Heard
you should hang with Dan when you get a chance. Have you hung with Dan?
I have. Dan and I
We're all hanging together.
next Tuesday.
That'll be fun.
I heard you had a run-in with somebody.
The cowardly Phil Williams.
That's what I heard. So now this is what I said. This all happened before me, but you guys have beef.
Well, we have beef in as much as I have challenged him on the manner of his reporting, and he has taken exception with how I have challenged him in the past, and I've called him out, and he doesn't like to be called out. He lives in a world. He lives in that typical quote unquote journalist bubble where he immunes himself or insulates himself from criticism, and because he insulates himself from criticism, he doesn't think the criticism exists. And so I like to regularly remind him that there are other points of view outside of his own. And frankly, I don't care. Just admit that you are subjective in your reporting, and we'll move on from it. But he is one of these guys, I'm straight down the middle. Yeah. I don't, pick and
Dan
choose.
Dan said today something happened to him where he got Trump derangement syndrome because he got a Peabody. He used to not be that way, and then he said something switched, and now he's sold for the cause, Trump derangement syndrome.
But the same guy that ambushes politicians in parking lots with cameras.
Is that you?
No, that's him. I mean, Phil Williams has done this to politicians over the years. Told me today that he couldn't handle mean tweets.
Are you serious?
Well, yeah, they blocked me on Twitter. And that's why I call him the cowardly Phil Williams, is because, I mean, you can't handle, and I've done nothing but point out where he errors in his reporting. And so he can't handle it. So I went up to him today and I said, hey, it's the cowardly Phil Williams. And I stuck up my hand, and he said, I'm not a coward.
Did he shake your hand?
He did shake my hand.
Okay.
But then we shook hands briefly, and then I said, well, you most certainly are a coward. You blocked me on social media. I don't know why you would do that. And he said, well, I blocked you because you're nasty. Oh. And I said, come on, Phil, I'm not nasty. And when I said that, I kind of reached up and kind of tapped him on the shoulder, like, come on, buddy.
Come on, dude, we're screwing around. This is part of the business.
Yeah, we're just messing around. Yeah. And his response was, do not touch me.
Oh, really? Oh, he's one of those. Do you know who I am? Did he have to go like Alex Padilla? Was there?
He did not, but he did have his large camera guy there next to him to protect him.
And you had Dan.
And
so there you go.
And I had Dan Mandis. So I felt good about that. No, and I said, I've had surgery. And I was like, oh, did you? You had shoulder surgery? And he did have shoulder surgery. So we bonded on shoulder surgery.
A hysterectomy? Chad, you mean?
And I said, well, stop being so cowardly. And I'm like, I'm not going to do that because you're hate-filled or something or another. And I was like,
you know what? I know a lot of people that are hate-filled. I don't really see you hate-filled.
I don't think I'm hate. I mean, I'm nasty. I mean, I'll go there, but I don't think I'm hate-filled.
But it's part of what we do.
I mean, in my vessel of life, is there hate? Sure. There's a little. It's not filled.
No, it's not. The bucket is not overfloweth.
No, look, I got along with everybody but the cowardly Phil Williams at the protest. There were great socialists there. There were anarchists there.
No, they're fun.
Mostly grandmas.
Mostly grandmas is what I heard. By the way,
a lot of 60-year-old women.
The U.S. has reported that we are helping shoot down the missiles, the ballistic missiles. So.
Does that mean we're involved in the war?
I do believe that means we're involved.
That's probably not good.
No, it's not. Boy, what's this going to cost us, everybody? That big, beautiful bill isn't big enough now.
just getting more expensive.
Coming up next, Phil Williams not joining the cowardly Phil not
Williams.
joining the situation that is Matt and his mean nastiness.
I'm just so mean.
You guys have a good weekend. We'll do it again on Monday.